among thieves in the first place. He put hard times on Dusty Rhodes and his family. Hard times are when the textile workers around this country are out of work and got 4 or 5 kids and can't pay their wages, can't buy their food. Hard times.
You know that I'm the cream of the crop.
It doesn't matter what your name is.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass.
Woo! I tore them all down, and I came here for one reason: to attack and keep coming.
I did this for the rock.
You will rest in peace.
I asked you 1,000,000 times to join the NWO, or you would be born alive.
Shut your mouth, you thong-wearing fatty.
Bang, bang. And what's it gonna do when Hulkamania run wild on you?
And that's the bottom line, cause Stone Cold said so.
Yeah! I won't ride in nothing but limousines, and I won't make love to nothing but the women of the world.
You don't know what hard times are, Daddy.
You will know that your ass is mine.
Bang, bang.
The best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. You got a championship belt? I don't.
That's right, I'm a Paul Heyman guy.
When Ric Flair's in town, showtime. Woo!
Sweet!
My belly's just a little big, my hand is just a little big, but brother, I am bad and they know I'm bad.
If you can survive, if I let you.
Orderly!
It is Rolex time for the Raven.
You just made the list!
Who do beat, brother?
You dig that, sucker!
I am the game!
The whole show.
If I can be serious for a minute.
You son of a bitch! Brock Lesnar. Damn!
Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass.
Oh, you didn't know? I mean, you're the Donald Trump of wrestling. You make Steven Spielberg look like a guy running 8mm films in a garage someplace.
Will you stop?
You don't want to recognize my belt, huh? You don't recognize my belt. I think you're a liar. I think you're a flat-out, straight-up, lying, crying bitch.
Whatever happened to the good old days when you just beat someone up if they pissed you off?
Why do we kill people? Why do we kill people?
Bang your damn, said the reporter. Damn, I thought you were a little smarter. Wise guy thought you had it all. All the kings, yeah, they do fall. Such a good rule of the night. You stay out late and you like to fight. Robbing still to make a buck. A fortune's in your house of luck. Bought a gun cause it was bigger. Didn't even know how to pull the trigger. Badass pump lines in the gutter. Now I gotta go and tell your mother.
Oh, yeah. Little Collapsing Lungs for you guys. That was the name of that band, by the way, Collapsing Lungs. Kind of a local Florida band. Used to party with these guys a little too much. But there you go. Collapsing Lungs, if you were looking for the name of that band. What is going on, everybody? Wednesday night, it is Dirt Sheet Dudes. I am Boxman. How are you doing? I hope you're doing well during these trying times. And across from me is, of course, the man, the myth, the legend, Double A. Anthony, how are you doing, sir?
Doing good, man. And thank you for that introduction. Did not deserve the praise, but appreciate it. And I appreciate the chat room. Thank you guys for tuning in, as always.
As always, the chat room is always appreciated. Anyone listening live elsewhere, also appreciated. Anybody who listens, downloads, any way you listen, we do appreciate it. All over your face, love. There we go.
Careful, but not really in the face right now. You know, social distancing. I don't really want to get too close. Even the loved ones.
Love all over your belly button. Whatever.
Although bold prediction, the baby making business, as well as the divorce rate, The divorce business, lawyers, man.
I told you, man, those are going to be the two that are going to be making buck after this right there, man. That's going to be the ones right there.
You're a gynecologist or a fucking lawyer, get ready. You going to be making some serious bank whenever this shit breaks.
Definitely. Do I hear something? I'm trying to figure out if it's on my end or your end. Do you have a TV up?
No.
All right, fuck it then. Fuck it. I don't know what it is and it just went away. So, I don't have a clue what it is. Oh, well. Man, I ain't that high yet. Or am I?
Yeah, you might want to get a couple things. A little bit of the news we got to get into this week, man. It's really irksome the more I think about it.
Yeah, we do have a lot of news to get into. We've got, I know we've been starting with news. We're not totally going away with it from it. We're going to just do a little bit of AEW, and then we'll tie the news into Raw. But we've got anonymous people saying they're held hostage in WWE. We've got Nia Jax talking smack. We've got Sami Zayn. There's a few people on both sides of the fence on the Sami Zayn thing. And we've got a few other things beside that. And, of course, we do have the Revival's new name.
And by the way, I hope this doesn't cause any friction between us, sir. But I got to say, fuck the states of Florida and Las Vegas. It's not even anything personal against the people, but the government officials that run these cities, run these states. My God. A lot of boneheaded decisions being made, in my opinion.
You're not wrong. Vegas, I get it, man. All the casinos, I know those people are fucking going broke right there. And talk about most of those people are paycheck to paycheck. We'll get into that later, though. But I do agree. I mean, casinos, a little ridiculous to be opening now. Like I said, we'll get into it later. I think you'll find that we're going to agree more than disagree on some of those topics. Maybe not. We might disagree. If we do, fuck it. We'll get past it. It's cool. That's cool. I can handle it. I can take it.
Yeah, no, but based on your tone, I feel like we'll be in agreement because I feel like, Box, regardless of where we stand on either side of the fence, I like to think that we're both on the side of common sense and not wanting to see people get unnecessarily harmed, especially during these uncertain times that we're all living in right now.
Right. Exactly. But, even Texas is supposed to start opening, actually last Friday they did open businesses, but there was a caveat to that. It wasn't just, businesses are all open again. Businesses that can do curbside and takeout and delivery were able to open again. So it's not I don't have
a problem with that. Like, like I said, limited, but I'm not in favor of opening where people can just come in and be amongst, large groups and all that type of stuff. If it's curbside, if it's put your order in and go somewhere and pick it up, that's one thing.
Right.
But to have places open where you can go in and at any particular point during the day, you'll see 6 or more people congregating. No, not right now.
No. And the one thing I am seeing is wood being put up on some buildings. That means you're locked out. Matter of fact, there's a little barbershop on my way to work called Straight Choppin', and their place was boarded up today. So when I went to work, so just seeing a lot of places get boarded up. I really thought business, owners of those places would kind of back off a little bit, let people, slide a little bit. But I guess they're in it for the money. So business is business, I guess you can say. But no, I'm not very happy about it. I will tell you that. But let's see. Go ahead and
barbershops especially.
Yeah, and I mean this is just like I said, this place is on my way to work. I don't work in the greatest area, but it's a cool little place. It's even got the little barbershop pole outside, a small one. It was a cool little place. Like I said, the name of it was Straight Choppin'. So and it was spelled STR8 Choppin'. So if that tells you anything. It was a cool little place to drive by and see, and going to be gone, obviously. But anyway, knock out these plugs. We will get into some wrestling, and we'll get into all that a little more later. Let me see. What can I play for you guys while we're doing this? Screw it. Let's just play this. All right, let's knock these plugs out. Of course, we've got the Wrestling Overdose. That is Shaheen over there. Check him out on the Wrestling Overdose. Wrestling OD. You can check out his Patreon at patreon.com/Wrestling Overdose. And of course, you can check him out at nuclearheatshop.com. And then you can go to Chairshot Tees. And then you can go to Clothesline with the dmedia.com. That is all the places you will find him. And of course, you can find him on Facebook and all those other places. Look over there for Shaheen. Check out the High Marks. And of course, always check out Bobby Anthem and Bobby Blades over there on the Inhuman Experience. And of course, don't forget to give a listen to the Unscripted Wrestling Podcast. And once again, to the man that shares the show, Stephen Milan. Find him on Letterboxd, BOXD.com/Stephen Milan, 2 L's in Milan. That man is just reviewing movies like a madman. And, of course, you guys can find us. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, review, follow. You can get us on Stitcher, iHeart, Spotify, Google, YouTube, TuneIn, Player FM, anywhere else. Anthony, you know what to do.
Bottom Line Pro Wrestling Podcast, Jason Clark, available. Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher, iHeart, wherever podcasts are heard. Download, subscribe, leave a review. Just like you should be doing for us. Leave a goddamn review.
There you go. There you go. And you know what? If you don't want to leave a review, just give us 5 stars and move on. How's that sound? There you go. Just scroll down a little more. Click, 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 and move. That's it. Click and move.
Come on, just Meltzer it. That's all you got to do. Meltzer it. Bam.
Give it a little Meltzer touch. Just give it 5 star. Oh, God, that was such a good match. Oh, Jesus.
Audio orgasms.
Oh.
2 times a week. Good Lord. A lot of content from the dudes.
Oh my God, a lot of mental masturbation. Oh, sorry, did I say that out loud? I mean, oh Jesus. Anyway, let's knock out AEW real quick. Don't have a shitload of AEW to talk about. There was some really good stuff tonight on AEW, though. I really got to be honest. And I told Anthony before the show, I thought Raw was just awful.
Oh yeah, I mean,
non-essential.
We'll get to it. I mean, I'm kind of like overall. Like some things they're doing and I like, but it's just like on the whole, it's just But let's start the show off on a positive note.
AEW is definitely a positive note. Sorry, Anthony. Yeah, AEW is definitely a positive note. We started off with Cody in a dark room, just talking. Good little speech, though. Good little speech by Cody here, I thought.
Yeah, yeah. It was a little bit masturbatory, but yeah,
more mental masturbation.
Masturbate. He's a great masturbator. No, it was a solid opening from Cody, but once again, just. I felt like it was beating a dead horse at this point.
Yeah,
just beating a dead horse. You know, the subs at WWE and AEW is all about the revolution and overtaking the old man. I'm like, yeah. I mean, I get it, but I feel like AEW has been a thing for long enough to where Cody should kind of be past that.
Yeah,
but I mean that's my only criticism of it. Like his delivery, so Cody's always been a solid promo. So I can't sit here with a straight face and say, "Oh, it was god awful."
Right.
Gaza, he's a natural talker, but it's just like I feel like we've been down this road before, and it feels like whether it's Cody, whether it's Brody Lee, whoever they sign, because they're going to sign some people from the recently released at some point. There's going to be more coming in. I just feel like there needs to be a little bit of a break.
Right.
Of the subtle shots being thrown at WWE.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. Some people have a reason to have gripes and, grudges against WWE, but at some point you got to let some shit go.
Yeah.
You're in a new company. You're getting a fresh start. Get it out of your system like night one and then move the fuck on, please.
Yeah, you would really figure they would have done that by now. I do definitely agree with that. I mean, even the Brody Lee things are still kind of a McMahon shot. And it's like, why you got to keep going there and doing this? I mean,
starting to get long in the tooth, ain't it?
It is, and I didn't think it would be this soon, but it already is. But anyway, Good little promo by Cody. He is starting to mentally masturbate a little bit. Just kind of stroke the old ego, which is fine. I'm not. I got no issues with it. But damn good promo here to start the show, and then they just boom. It's like, all right, that's over, done. Let's get this shit going.
Yes, and right off the bat, got that little bit of criticism out the way. I will say I love the video packages they did tonight. I felt like every match on the show had a purpose.
Yeah.
You know, they introduce you to the characters, their issues. Right off the bat, first match, you had Sammy Guevara and
Darby Allin.
Darby Allin.
Yeah. Great match right there between those two. Lasted almost 30 minutes.
Everything about it, the video package. And I don't know. What did you think of the layout of the match, though?
I thought it was good. I thought Guevara has, with the hurt, left foot, doing everything, still being able to do his moves. The dude is a fucking just a maniac in the ring, but a controlled one. He's not dangerous or anything. I'm not saying that. He's not out there.
Well,
no, we'll get into that. He's not out there going Naya, but he's. But
you might have coined the phrase there, Box.
Oh yeah, going Naya. There you go. But he's definitely good in the ring, and the guy's just got something, man. I really like Sammy Guevara. But this match was just all out. These guys just fucking, Darby Allin always goes out there and lays out 110%. And, I think both these guys went out there and did that. It fucking showed.
Yeah. And honestly, I don't really have too much to add to what you just said, other than the fact that I was disappointed, man. That Sammy Guevara went down in this one, man. The only thing that kind of caught me off guard, but almost in a good way, because I feel like it kind of like shows that down the road he'll be a good babyface, is the spot that they did with the hurt foot. It felt like that's something that you would have saw him doing to Darby Allin. That's the kind of like, that was kind of like a babyface move. Yeah. They had him fighting through the pain. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Wrestling with one foot. It just seemed like that was like a babyface type move. So that's the only thing that kind of caught me off guard. Like if you were watching this cold and you had no idea what was going on, who the characters were, you would think Guevara was the babyface in this situation.
Yeah, when Guevara does turn, he's going to be a very sympathetic babyface. He's going to be very easy to connect with the crowd. So definitely this got a very, very lengthy future as long as he can stay healthy. So like I said, he does do some crazy moves, but he's not doing them in crazy ways. So I think he's going to be all right.
Jericho influence.
And Jericho tonight on commentary, just great. Of course, Jesus, just this is what, the third week. I mean, how many shows did they just sit there and tape with these guys? They just must have been dead after these matches. But the next thing we had, though, and again, I'm not going to go match by match, but there were some very good video packages tonight. This Matt Hardy promo, I really liked. I liked how it bounced from broken Matt Hardy into regular Matt Hardy, and he cut a promo both ways. I thought it was really, really fucking creative, really good. And I know everyone's kind of like, these things they just suck. Man, he's just ramping up, man. Let him get a feel for what the crowd wants. No, not the crowd, but the audience, being us at home. Give it some time. But I thought this was great, man. Playing both characters, going out there and cutting this promo. Good shit. Great video package.
I actually like it. It's like, I feel like at this stage of the game, obviously Broken Matt is his ace. That's his ace up the sleeve. I feel like him kind of going back and forth was a good way to preserve the integrity of the Broken Matt character for when it actually means something. Because like Broken Matt is one of those deals, especially because you figure Matt, got a lot of miles on the body, so everything he does at this point, he has to mean something.
Right.
So I actually like the fact that he kind of introduced his regular character into things. So that way, it's almost like you have to kind of get him to a breaking point to bring out the broken aspect of his character. So I felt like that's what this was here. I feel like you're first going to see Matt Hardy going up against the Inner Circle, because he talked about trying to protect the future of the business from these guys. We had our time. It's about the future. It's about the Sammy Guevaras of the world. making their impact on the business. So I feel like we're going to see Matt Hardy go up against the Inner Circle first and fail. And then it's going to be Broken Matt that kind of eventually helps to unravel and break down the walls of the Inner Circle at some point, which I feel like is smart because you get more mileage out of the broken gimmick. You don't run it into the ground.
Right. Absolutely, man. Yeah. I really think Matt Hardy is a very creative guy, which is one of the reasons. I mean, he even said that in that little video. That's one of the reasons I didn't want to go back to WWE. They'll tell you got creative and you don't have creative. So, going into AEW, I think this is going to be really good for Matt Hardy. And I think we're going to definitely see a different Matt Hardy than just the guy that goes out there and, oh yeah, I like this Matt Hardy, and I like that he's doing both characters here. Anything else on that?
No, it was a solid segment, and once again, Jericho. I'm looking forward to the eventual Jericho and Broken Matt on the Hardy compound.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's going to be glorious. Still a phrase.
And I knew eventually they were going to go there. I mean, I said it on Facebook that one post a while back. I knew eventually they were going to do that, and there's no reason they shouldn't. No reason they shouldn't. Absolutely, they should go do it. It's going to be fucking great when they do. Now, speaking of more video packages, the Scorpio Sky video. I no need to get into the Kenny Omega versus Alan Angels. Don't worry about it. But Scorpio Sky video package, I really like this video. Again, man, when they want to build a character and they really get behind it, they've got a lot of talent on these videos. I mean, Chuck Palumbo just pulling another one out here, obviously.
Yeah, this was definitely a Palumbo special, man. And Scorpio Sky's a weird one for me because I remember him from way back, like the late 90s, early 2000s on the indies. And like I said, I remember thinking back then, like, yeah, he was a good wrestler, but didn't know much about him. Fast forward all of these years later, and it's like, man,
yeah,
this guy, like I said, he comes across very likable, very relatable, and it's like I want to know more. Like when they said they got the to be continued, which is going to pick up with him, Daniels, and Kazarian forming SCU. I'm like I said, I'm looking forward to it. He had the showing against Jericho a couple months back that was fantastic. Like he's another guy. Like I'm not going to say like top guy material. Carry the company, but I could see him being like a solid upper mid card level talent once they eventually break him off from SCU, which I feel like they need to at some point because I mean I feel like Kazarian and Daniels, that can be their shtick, but I feel like Scorpio Sky, he fits perfectly with them as a trio, but there's something there on his own that I feel like is worth exploring.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, I got to admit, I don't know a shitload about Scorpio Sky. I know he's been around for a while. Every time I've seen him, I'm impressed with the guy. I mean, Jesus Christ, I remember him from WSX, right? He was in WSX. Yeah,
he was on there. Yeah, because what happened was the last time I remember seeing him before that was XPW.
Okay.
Then XPW fell off a cliff, and I want to say like 2002, 2003. And then I kind of lost track of him. I'm pretty sure he was still out there, but I had just kind of lost track of him.
Yeah.
And then he popped back up on WSX.
Yeah. I remember. For some reason, that show sticks in my mind. A lot of people that were on that show. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't know a ton about him. Remember him from a few things. Always been impressed by him. But this little video tonight, I didn't know about the whole back injury and told he would never wrestle, probably never wrestle again. And made it back from that. I didn't know about all that. That's why I like some of these videos. It almost seems like they've got a few guys they really want to build characters on, and videos like this 100% do that. And Antox is saying apparently this push for Scorpio Sky is Tony Khan's idea. If this is Tony Khan's idea, we're in good hands. That's all I'm going to say. We are in good hands if this is Tony Khan's idea because he's pushing the right people that are, like Anthony said before, he's very relatable. He just seems like another guy. He doesn't seem like this big, overbearing, larger-than-life guy. And crowds, I mean, that's why Daniel Bryan clicks with crowds. He's just one of them. And this guy comes off as just, again, your word relatable is the perfect way to put it. He definitely comes off relatable. So good shit.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sorry, I'm going to cut you off there. I'm just saying, like, it's good that even if you don't necessarily see a guy as like a top guy or whatever, that's fine. But I feel like anybody that's on the show, if they're not there strictly for enhancement talent purposes, they should have some type of a purpose. And you should kind of like introduce these characters. And I feel like that was something I was very critical of AEW early on. They would just kind of have matches for the sake of matches. They really wouldn't go out of their way to explain like why you should care about these people. They would just automatically assume that their indie cred was enough to satiate a national audience that maybe didn't necessarily follow them on the indies. So I'll give credit where it's due. They've been doing a fantastic job of introducing these characters, giving you a reason. They gave you, like I said, every match on the card tonight, they gave you a reason. Gave you video packages, and Jericho on commentary, got to give him kudos. He, even in character, even being a dirtbag heel, he has the right balance of getting a guy over without tearing him down completely.
Yep.
He'll tear him down character wise, but he still like put him over enough to where it's just like it's not a total burial on commentary.
Right. Yeah. Jericho's a fucking man. Nothing else to say. Jericho's the fucking man. But let's see. I'm going to skip a few of these matches, and I'm going to go to the MJF video. Is that all right with you?
Yeah, MJF, fucking working motherfucker.
Acting like he's going to cry. A video in front of his house. And so he says. He acted like he was going to cry in the video and announce how injured he was. And then finally he goes to that he has a bad hangnail. The camera pans back and it's MJF sitting there with like his arm in a sling and just a big bandage around his little pinky finger.
He reminded us, as always, that he's better than us and that we should know it.
Absolutely. And he is. I cannot deny that. The guy is fucking gold, man. Listen, the guy's an old school dickhead. And I fucking love it. I just like it. He's just... Yes, there's nothing else to say. This video right here proves why MJF is one of the best, in my opinion.
Yep, and like I said, psychology down to a science, man. Like, I don't give a fuck what people... He doesn't do a lot of moves in the ring. He's a basic wrestler. He's boring. Who gives a fuck, man? Like, he stands out. He literally stands out. Like, whether he can do those moves or not is beside the point. The point is he stands out. He makes you care. So in other words, he's such a douchebag heel that literally anybody he gets in the ring with, Box, you can get in the ring with him next week. And have the crowd going crazy for you because he is that easy to hate as a heel.
People don't seem to get that he's not out there to give you a 5-star match. He's not out there to give you a flippity-doo match. He's out there to piss you off during the match. And it doesn't matter how he's wrestling. That pisses people off just as much. That he doesn't wrestle the way they're used to in AEW. The guy's doing his job. Every little thing he does is him doing a fucking heel gimmick. The fact that he doesn't go out there and he doesn't have all these big flashy moves, that's part of the heel gimmick. He's not out there doing flips for you. That's part of the gimmick.
Yep. And honestly, you know what I kind of compare it to? And this might be a weird comparison, but bear with me here.
Okay.
I compare it to Cactus Jack in 1995 ECW.
Okay.
The genius of Mick Foley's heel turn in ECW was he went totally against the grain and did not give the ECW fans what they wanted. Because as Cactus Jack, if he had just turned on somebody like, I don't know, say fucking Tommy Dream or Sami, whoever, but still wrestled like Cactus Jack, still did the crazy shit, it wouldn't have registered, especially with that ECW crowd. So what he did was he turned heel by becoming anti-hardcore.
Right.
He intentionally went out there and had the most boring match that you could possibly have.
Mm-hmm.
Like he literally, he was sitting in a headlock for like 10 minutes. I'm hardcore. Like he would tease like doing the elbow off the apron, and then go like, never mind. and then get in the ring and do like a fucking YMCA type dance, just cool. But like I said, that was the brilliance of Mick Foley. Yeah. So when people say like Mick Foley, like one of the greatest minds, one of the greatest promos in the business, that's why. Psychology 101.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah, that's actually not a bad comparison at all. Actually, not at all. It's just great. I think MJF is another one who's got a great future.
And he's saving his fucking body.
Yep.
Look, honestly, think about it. He's only 23 now.
Mm-hmm.
So theoretically speaking, this guy could wrestle for another 30, 40 years.
Right.
If he keeps up this pace. He can actually, the goal is in wrestling to preserve your body, but at the same time make as much money as you possibly can. Wrestling, you have a very short window. He's still young. So he and the scary thing about MJF at this point is he's only 23, 24. He hasn't theoretically hit his prime yet.
Right.
So if he's this good now, just think how much better he's going to be 5-10 years down the road.
Oh yeah.
That's what's fucking scary. And I hope AEW is smart enough to have him locked up, because I could definitely see him within the next 3 to 5 years being on WWE's radar.
Yeah, definitely, man. Definitely. But yeah, you think that, and then sometimes I don't. But I could see them not caring and picking up a guy like that. And then we had his buddy Wardlow after that, Anthony, have a match. Wardlow is Rob Terry. He's just a jacked up dude who can throw dudes around.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I wasn't really paying attention because look, dude, like when you see Wardlow in there against some scrub, and I'm sorry, the guy might go on to be something down the line, but for tonight he was a scrub. So it wasn't like I was glued to my computer screen like, oh my god, I wonder who's going to win this. So this is one of those matches where I kind of tuned out because I knew the outcome.
Yeah, trust me, it wasn't worth really putting any time into. And matter of fact, that's all. We're not going to put any time into it anyway. Another great video package for Dark Order, though, right there. There was an ex-football player who obviously his life was going to shit. His girl just left him, and he applied to be in Dark Order, and they brought him in. And
they did another Vince McMahon inspired Brody Lee tribute because he basically. How tall are you? I'm 6'2". I was waiting for the obligatory how much do you bench?
Yeah.
But no, they just asked him how much he weighed.
No, that would have been a dig at Triple H. Was one of the lines, a lot of people around here are afraid of success. Do you understand that? He had a lot of good lines, Brody Lee, in this, but just another great. I mean, this Dark Order thing is just taken on. It's like its own little life, and I've been a fan since the beginning, but this is just really just keeping me interested in it. The deeper they get into the story.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, I'm actually I'm getting there with it. It's starting to be more streamlined. Mm-hmm. It seems to have more of a purpose, and I feel like they're slowly starting to phase out some of the indie-rific aspects of the Dark Order when it first kind of came on the scene. Because when it first came on the scene, I know you've been a fan, and I'm not going to knock you for that, but it was very much goofy and very much shindy in terms of like how it was kind of thrown out there. Mm-hmm. A bunch of random scrubs in masks. Throwing shit terrible work punches. I like it now because I feel like it's more streamlined in there. I have a better idea of the points they're trying to get across.
I had faith, Anthony. What can I say? I had faith, and they're proving me right here. I'll put it that way. I will put it that way.
Yeah, and Brody Lee, props. I mean, like I said, the digs at Vince are getting kind of old, but he's very good in his role. So I want to make that clear. He's good in his role. He's good in his delivery. It's just like, shots at Vince. They're getting old at this point.
Yeah, they are. But that did bring us to a Brody Lee match with Justin Law, a local guy, I guess. I don't know who that guy is. Do you? No?
No.
All right. Then, Brody Lee obviously won that match. And I guess we can go right to the Bubbly Bunch.
Before we get there. Should we talk about Orange Cassidy's debut? Did we miss that?
What debut? He's wrestled before, hasn't he?
No, his first Dynamite match.
Oh, yeah. I guess we can talk
Jimmy
about
Havoc.
that.
Yeah, I just wanted to Orange Cassidy, man, gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah.
And I wanted to bring this up because it had one of my favorite Jericho-isms. I feel like I need to start keeping track of the Jericho-isms, the gems that he drops on commentary. At one point during the Jimmy Havoc Orange Cassidy match, he goes, Shivanto, he's beating him to a pulp. See what I did there? And I'm sorry. It's just like I said, yeah, it was hokey, yeah, it was cheeseball, but that's always been Jericho's MO, and I fucking loved it.
That is good.
Jericho.
I missed that. But I kind of wanted to skip that because the only thing I was going to say about that match is Jimmy Havoc is not good.
Yeah. I didn't want to spend time on it, but once again, another guy I was critical of initially was Orange Cassidy, but the dude is growing on me, man. So I had to give him some props.
Yeah, and I think Jimmy Havoc should have had a better match with Orange Cassidy, but I think Jimmy Havoc sucks. But anyway, we don't really need to get into that, I guess, do we? Well, I think I said my piece on it. So
Orange Cassidy, good shit.
Yep. Jimmy Havoc, poopy. But anyway, Bubbly Bunch. Let's get back to the Bubbly Bunch here because these this is the second edition of the Bubbly Bunch. Sammy Guevara was a little down because of the Inner Circle's recent losses, but the rest of the group was encouraging him, to be positive. Hager was there. All the Inner Circle was there at their houses having, now.
And Hager's, up and he's working on his, street cred, talking about on site. Site.
He's in Bellator with a bunch of young fighters, so I guess he hears a lot. But, yeah, man, it's, this video was great. Why was, Santana's video so blurry compared to the others? Did you notice that too?
I noticed it a little bit. I don't know. Was it a bad camera angle, you think? Or I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know how they did it, unless they literally used somebody's cell phone footage.
Well, they were showing them on their cell phones, so they couldn't have been doing that. But I don't know. It was just I noticed his camera for some reason was like really shitty. I don't know if the lens was dirty, and they just said, "Fuck it, we'll roll with it."
Yeah, that could have been it.
Yeah, but definitely
and the stuffed animals.
Yeah, and then who knows? And then the Grinch, goddamn, the fucking Grinch stuffed animal. But and then if they did a little flim flam dance, which I'm not 100% sure what that is, but I guess I saw it tonight. I guess it's what Mandy Rose, those videos she's been putting out. Is that what it is?
Yeah, Mandy.
I mean, I've been watching. I mean, Jesus, she's just jiggly in the right places. But this video was great. Sammy Guevara upstaged Jericho's dance, so Jericho got mad. And I don't know, man. These Bubbly Bunch segments, I hope they keep doing these, especially right now, because they're great. They're hilarious, and they're just what we need right now. They're just at their houses, having fun, talking back and forth. Good shit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And Jericho even made it a point on commentary to say, like, basically, like, we're just here. We're doing these shows to kind of keep your mind off things and to give you a positive distraction. And look, right off the bat, Box, you more so than I, but I'm starting to kind of come around to your way of thinking. These empty arena shows, whether it's AEW, WWE, depressing as fuck. Because it just kind of reminds you how not normal we are right now with things, with life in general. But I will say AEW, by and large, has kicked WWE's ass in terms of presentation of these empty arena shows.
Yep.
Because obviously they've had to break some rules, bend some things. But David Lee, I find myself week to week looking more forward to the Dynamite shows because I know some thought and some care and some effort was put into the presentation.
Right. Absolutely, man. Been really great. But definitely AEW's doing the better job. Just having some people down there at stage or at ringside. So when the wrestlers are out of the ring, there's at least some people making some noise. It's just that little change, that little nuance really makes a big difference.
Oh, and because I think the main event is all we really got to get into, then we'll wrap it up. I do want to say next week, I will be the biggest fucking Brody Lee fan you ever saw because he's going one-on-one with one Marco Stunt.
Oh.
So hopefully we see a decapitation.
Probably.
During the course of that match.
Probably.
And please, obviously it's in the can, so this is basically, it's pointless to go on this little rant here. But if there's any guide out there right now, that match needs to be a total and utter squash. No offense whatsoever. No hope spots. No, fuck that. That needs to be a decapitation.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously. I say that in all sincerity. That needs to be a total squash.
Yep.
He should not get in a lick of offense on Brody Lee whatsoever.
No, he should go out there and get killed. So, but we'll see what they do. They've been giving Marco a little offense here and there. I could see a couple minutes of offense, but nothing big.
No.
I'm sorry. Like a couple moves of offense. I meant not a minutes, moves, and that's it. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Yeah.
Much better.
I'm sorry. I meant moves, not minutes. Moves. There we go. Yes, which brings us to Dustin Rhodes and Kip Sabian.
Yes, the match. The 51-year-old rookie, the man that put his entire career on the line, 32 years in the business. And I know this because he had a very heartwarming conference call with Cody earlier in the show. So I felt the need to put that out there. 32 years. No, I feel like it was Dustin Rhodes and Kip Sabian for the story that they were telling. Dustin wasn't retiring, so I feel like the match was decent for what it was, but it was kind of predictable. I felt like they kind of telegraphed it when they put that stipulation in there. Like,
right.
Dustin had swore he swore he'll retire if he can't beat this dude.
Yeah, and everyone knew he wasn't retiring, but and he did come out with Brandy. Dustin did, which it's got to be a little weird for him. He's coming out with his brother's wife, but anyway, Penelope Ford, my God, boy, good looking woman.
No, good looking woman, but she don't got shit on Zelina Vega this week.
Oh, my God. Zelina Vega looked like.
I'll put it to you like this: I don't give a fuck about security. Let's just say I would have risked going through security, catching the Rona. The whole bit for what she had on this past Monday. Good God.
Girl looked like she was straight out of fucking Lincoln Road in Miami, South Beach. Looked straight out of Miami, dude.
Yeah. It might have to be on site for Aleister Black. He might beat the living fuck out of me, but I'll take it. It'll be look, Box. It's certain things in this world worth fighting for. Mm-hmm. Making the attempt, and what Zelina Vega had on this past Monday to me warrants an attempt. By any man. Yeah. I mean, we would never, obviously, say force yourself on someone, but, We understand. We understand what we're saying. We understand. No, not that. I would fight for her honor.
Oh. I am the man who will fight. Anyway.
No, but I don't know what you got on this. It was a good match for what it was.
It was. It was a good match, but like you said, it was definitely not going to be Dustin Rhodes out there retiring with no person, not one person in the crowd, on a Dynamite episode. No, that was not going to happen. But it did the job. Obviously, the girls got involved. They've always got to get Brandy to do something in the ring. Dustin Rhodes won. We all knew he was going to. I got nothing more.
No. That was Dynamite, ladies and gentlemen.
Yay.
It wasn't, like I said, the past couple weeks have not been bad shows per se, but they just been kind of like there. The highlight, honestly, for me personally, has been Jericho on commentary. I mean, obviously last week they had the big empty arena match with Moxley and Hager. That was fantastic. But on the whole, to bring back an old school phrase, the highlight of Dynamite week to week for the past few weeks has been Jericho on commentary. I'll be honest, I hope they find a way to keep him, like, maybe not all the time, but to keep him a presence on commentary. And the only thing I do want to make mention of from Dynamite this week, I like how they had Taz doing like the anatomy of moves and shit. That's a concept that I hope that they kind of keep around, because that's something Taz is good at. Yes, really kind of breaking down like why a move hurts and the execution of it and the technique involved. I thought that was a very nice touch on AEW's part to add that little segment in there this week.
Yeah, that was. I'm glad you brought that up because I kind of forgot about that. But that was really good. Taz doing it was great. He's like, look right here, the way he comes down, the pressure on that, and bam! Look at the way that, and it's like, dude, this is what Taz needs to be doing.
Yeah, and it was like, it was for the Omega match that we didn't. I'm not getting into the Omega match, but it was basically like a squash match for Kenny Omega this week. Mm-hmm. And ahead of that, they did like a little video package highlighting like the V trigger, the snap German that he does, and I like that. Once again, like it really adds another dimension, something that separates AEW. Yep. Because I don't recall, even throughout as long as WWE's been around, they've never done something like that. So this is something uniquely AEW. I like it. More of it.
Now that did bring me a little bit back to when ECW was showing. What was it? Sabu's neck getting broken by Benoit?
Yeah, that all of these years later, that's still a rough piece of footage to watch.
But remember, they like slowed it down and broke it down, and they were like, "Look, you can see right here. Hold, stop it. Okay, right there, you see the snapping of the neck, and you're like, dude." Or when they showed Triple H's friggin' tendon quad just roll up in his leg, and you were like, "Oh no!"
And I mean, those two are bad, but the worst was fucking on Nitro with Sid.
Oh, the leg.
When they kept and I don't remember. Like I said, I don't remember shit about that episode other than the fact that they showed that shit like had to be like 87 times.
Yes.
Throughout the course of the show, they slowed in the show motion. They showed still photos. As a matter of fact, Sid actually ended up suing the company for that. He lost the case, obviously. But he actually sued him. That was one aspect of the lawsuit, that he felt like they were profiting off of his injury because they showed it so many times on Nitro. Yeah, which I don't blame him for making it. My God, though, that was me. Would you say that's probably the worst injury in wrestling history? I mean, obviously, there's been plenty of fucked up injuries, right? But you say that's one of the worst. I would put that up there with Drives.
I would, well, yeah, but I mean that one, Sid, that was just so hard to watch. You just, dude, I cringe every time I watch that, and I'll tell you the truth, I got it. Sometimes I just turn away. I'm like, oh God, I remember this one. I can't even watch it. It was horrible, man. That was horrible.
Yeah. That complete show, I want to say it was Sin. That pay-per-view was on the network, but I can't watch it. I have never, like I said, I've seen obviously the footage, right? But I've never watched the match because I just have no interest in it. Because literally, you see that man's leg just snap.
Yeah, and you asked before if that was the worst injury. I guess you could say it's pathetic what Scott and Rybert is saying draws. I believe who was that guy in Mexico? Perro Aguayo would disagree with you, but he's not alive to tell you. A lot of guys. I mean, we've had a few people die right in the ring. I believe that's probably the worst injury you could get.
Yeah.
Masawa.
I mean, yeah. Hayabusa. Yeah, fuck Hayabusa.
Hayabusa damn near died in the ring. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a lot of bad, but I mean, Hayabusa also said he would never walk again, and he did. Obviously, we know Draws never did walk again. We just saw him recently on Dark Side of the Ring. Not looking bad, but definitely hasn't been able to walk again. But a lot lot of bad injuries and even some deaths have happened in the ring. So, I mean, it ain't ballet, Anthony. Isn't that what they say?
It ain't ballet. Yeah, that's that's one of those fucking that's been around since the beginning of time when it comes to wrestling. Quotes. They and that Taz little piece that we just brought up.
Mm-hmm.
I love how at the bottom, did you notice the little disclaimer they had? These moves are performed by trained professionals. Do not try these at home or any place.
Yes.
Doing so could lead to a serious injury. I mean, I'm not making fun of. I mean, obviously, because you do have idiots out there. That's just a high knee. I can do that. You know, so I get it. You know, plus, you know, kids are watching, so they were being responsible. I just thought that was a little funny.
Yeah, I did see that. But those videos were good. I hope they continue doing those. Definitely. Most definitely.
Yes.
So
that was Dynamite.
That was it. Spent a little more time on that than I wanted to, but the news, believe it or not, there is a lot to get into, but it's actually it's a bunch of news stories kind of tied into one. So let's start with a couple little ones, Anthony.
Yes, sir.
The Revival has revealed their new tag team name. As we talked about last week, their new names, obviously individually, are Cash Wheeler and Dax Harwood. So, you know, Cash Wheeler, country singer, and Dax Harwood, the porn star. They decided to roll with the whole FTR, and instead of doing, fuck the Revival, they're going with the Revolt. And their line is now Fear the Revolt, sticking with FTR. The Revolt. I'm sorry, the first thing I think of when I hear that is the revolting blob from Billy Madison. It's the first thing I think of.
Yeah. Look, I wish the guys well, but based on these names, they probably failed their creative writing courses in high school, college, whatever the fuck. It just kind of goes to show that, like, as good as they are in the ring, they're lacking in the creativity department.
Mm-hmm.
Not just from a verbal standpoint, but just from a name standpoint, bro. Like, literally. Like, somebody's like literally, like, you're going to trademark this shit? you really, like, seriously, Dax Harwood, Cash Wheel, you're going to put that on a t-shirt and think somebody's going to buy that shit? Like, come on, man.
Or
like,
Fear the Revolt?
I mean, look, the Revival wasn't fucking lighting the world on fire merchandise-wise, but it's a better sounding name than fucking the Revolt. At least the Revival kind of rolls off the tongue, and it fits the theme of what they were going for. You know, we're old school. You know, we're bringing old school tag team wrestling back, like the Andersons and Tully and Arn, and you got it.
Huh.
The Revolt is revolting.
Yeah, and it looks like there's already a group called the Revolt. Since 2015, Caleb Conley, Zayn Riley, and they've already had the tag team going. And here's a picture of them down here. Caleb Conley is on NWA right now, but it's three guys, and their gear says the Revolt on it. Interesting. And you can find their shirts on Pro Wrestling Tees. Oh, there's going to be some shit going down here, brother.
Yeah, like I said, wish both guys the best, but I don't see their merchandise flying off the shelves. No, not at all. Those are horrible names. That's a horrible team name. Just, Jesus.
Yeah,
Christ.
Yeah, bad. That's why I said let's bring up a few small things. And Anthony, something you sent in the messenger, I went ahead and pulled because we brought this up many times. Might as well keep doing it. It seems there's some backstage pull in WWE to break up the New Day. Now, again, this is just a wrestling news. Wrestling News reports that there have been pitches backstage to nix the New Day group. Now, they don't really say who the source is, so again, let's grain of salt this bad boy. This is the quote they put. It is interesting that the New Day was shown because for years there have been pitches made by writers to have them turn heel or to have them split up. Big E, Kofi, and Xavier Woods have been against splitting up the team. I know I'm a big proponent for Big E definitely being the guy, their guy, WWE's guy. Overall, I definitely think one day that'll happen. Now certainly isn't the time to break them up. Probably not for a good long while. I would not break them up. So I definitely think Big E could be big for them, but Big E probably got maybe a little maturing to do before he can go out there and do all that. And they may see the same thing, but probably a year or two down the road, I'd be down with that.
I'm totally against it. I mean, look, I get it. You know, you could say they're getting a little stale, but if that's the case, just kind of like, why can't they just go their separate ways for a minute? Or put it to you like this, to your point, let Big E be the single star and keep Kofi and Woods as a team, and they occasionally kind of like intermingle and come back together. Every faction doesn't have to end on bad terms. That's the whole gripe that I had with it. Mm-hmm. It's such a played out trope in wrestling where every faction has to end on bad terms. One has to rise, one has to fall. They can still be a faction. They can still be friendly, but just say, hey, like, you know, I have individual goals. We can tag up every now and then. We can kind of like do specials. And plus, I just don't see them wanting to break up that cash cow. I mean, I know they kind of hinted at the New Day possibly breaking up with that little video they did on SmackDown last week. Mm-hmm. But I just don't see, you know, them breaking up just because of the money. They still bring fucking money in like a motherfucker for the company. Yeah. And to break up that dynamic, especially right now, would be a horrible fucking move, in my opinion. It wouldn't be smart business wise.
Yeah. And those three really play off of each other well. They've got great chemistry together. It's like, you know, every time y'all get a good thing going, you fuck it up. Can you stay away from your goddamn formula just once? Just once. Tell the formula to fuck off. And don't break these guys up so fast. Let them fucking keep doing what they're doing. They're happy. Why do they not want people happy, Anthony? Explain this to me. Now, by the way, that was a Ringside News article. Anthony, don't even fucking post that shit anymore. I just realized, I'm sitting there going, I thought it was a PW Insider. Then I'm looking at it, I'm like, Ringside. No wonder my computer fucking locked up for a minute there.
Nah, I mean, hopefully they don't. And I feel like those guys, they've been together, what 6 years at this point? So, and they definitely have enough pull to kind of like, you know, where I feel like Vince will hear them out. But I feel like if you break them up, yeah, we can sit here and say Big E has star potential, but you basically, they're going to go back to being aimless again. Well, I mean, you figure like Xavier Woods, I don't think they see him as any type of a potential, like even like a upper mid card level guy. Kofi will go back to being like Kofi. He would kind of flounder in the mid card. And Big E, they would attempt to push, but I feel like they would try to repackage him into something horrible, and he would lose everything that's likable about him now.
Yeah, but I will tell you, here's kind of why I think that article is bullshit. Not just because it's Ringside News. Just, you know, add that as a bonus. But if they broke them up now or even within 6 months, they don't just break up them. They break up them. They break up, like you said, the merch sales start dwindling, probably immediately. The podcast. What happens to their podcast? What are they going to break up and then go on their podcast and be like, hey, what's going on? It's fucking New Day podcast again. No. I mean, look, there probably have been pitches to do it, but they're all but I think everyone's, but believe it or not, they're probably in agreement. Like, no, making too much money. Why would we do that? So I think that article's bullshit. Fucking Brad Shepard.
Yeah, and plus it's one of those things where you always have to answer the question, and then what? You break them up, they feud, and then what? Mm-hmm. And I guarantee you, there have been many pitches. Time to break up the New Day. Time to break up the New Day. Just like I'm sure there were a lot of pitches. Goldberg has to lose. Goldberg has to lose. But then it feels like nobody had the foresight or the common sense to go, okay, we beat Goldberg, and now what? What do we do with them? We broke up New Day, they feuded, and then what? We still have 3 guys that we have to pay that we want to somehow contribute to the show in a meaningful way. They weren't really doing it individually, but we brought them together and struck gold. Mm-hmm. Man, they're individuals again, and now we're kind of stuck with, I guess we can put Kofi, we can put him back in the mid card. He can do Kofi things. Woods can go back to, being an underneath guy, and Big E can go back to what? Being a heavy for Dolph Ziggler. These are the things that I guarantee you they did not think about. What's the follow up going to be?
Dude, it's like when they broke up Gable and
Jason Jordan.
Thank you, Jason Jordan. Those 2 guys were over, both great in the ring, and then they broke them up, and Gable is now Shorty G, and Jason Jordan was Kurt Angle's son.
And honestly, they missed a fucking prime opportunity right there with fucking Chad Gable. For all of the people, he's short. Dude, why? Like, first off, and this is not a slight on Jason Jordan, and I get they wanted to go with the whole, but he's black, and how can he be Kurt Angle's son? Har, har, har. But sometimes the obvious direction is the best direction. Mm-hmm. And to me, Box, you can't tell me you didn't get, like, shades of early Kurt Angle when you saw Chad Gable, not just in the ring, but just, I feel like personality-wise, him and Kurt could have played off each other so well.
Yeah.
I just felt like he could, when Kurt Angle first came on the scene, he was like a goofball, like the lovable goofball. You hated him. He was cocky, but he was one of those guys that you had to begrudgingly respect because he was as good as he said he was.
Yeah.
I felt like that was a fucking money deal that they didn't do. They squandered. That to me was a license to print money there potentially. And also, like, Kurt Angle, a legitimate gold medalist, giving a rub to a guy who competed in the Olympics. It writes its fucking self. Look, I'm not a booker. I'm not saying I can fucking write grand slam ideas, but that to me is common sense. You're only legitimate gold medalist on the roster. And you put him with a guy who was in the Olympics. It writes itself.
And that's the problem. It's just too fucking easy. They just won't ever go that route. Antox is asking me, do I think Dax and Kat, oh my God, that sounds even worse when you say it like that. Now they sound like 2 gay porn stars, which is fine. Can just get away with being the FTR. Just be FTR. No need to ever mention the Revolt name. Yeah, they probably could, because I actually think they have FTR. I think they might have snuck that trademark in. I don't think WWE owns that one. I think they do. Yeah, they could get away with that.
But
probably.
but they probably couldn't get away with like trying to sell a phrase like "fuck the revival."
No,
just because that probably WWE could get them on. In addition to trademark, they can probably get them on slander of a trademark.
Yeah, but I just think the Revolt name is awful. Even for the other tag team, it's just awful. Fucking Billy Madison's revolting blob. Pervert teacher. Anyway, we can move on a little bit, Anthony. Going along here, and I guess we can get into the anonymous WWE employee.
I got to give props to Sasha Baron Corbin. I'm not clicking on this link, but we kind of talked about this, you, me, and Smarkin on the Facebook earlier, a couple days ago about everybody having a fucking podcast. I just got to get this out the way, man. The Bennetts, so Mike and Maria have a podcast. I just found out earlier in the week that Sean Oliver has a podcast from Kayfabe Commentaries, which is actually pretty decent. So I'm not going to shit on his. But when you think about some of these people that got podcasts now, the fucking Elijah Burke, the Pope, he has a podcast.
Oh shit!
It is. I haven't listened to a full episode yet, but it's pretty decent. But the podcast market when it comes to wrestling is just oversaturated. When you get to the point where the fucking Bennetts and Vicky Guerrero and fucking Terry Reynolds had podcasts, it's just too much, dude. It's too fucking much. I mean, I get it. You know, Vicky, she's a Guerrero. She did have a career of her own, but it's just like, what the fuck is she really going to talk about on the podcast? That's going to be of interest. Like, oh, that time I wrestled horribly, or they called me fat on commentary. Yeah, great. I really want the backstory on that one.
Dude, I got to tell you, I was pretty much fed up when the Bellas got their podcast. I was Lillian Garcia. I can understand because she talked for a living. So, she was an announcer. That one actually doesn't bother me. So, but the Bellas, do they still have a podcast? They do, yes. Don't they? Yeah. Listen. I'm not sitting here saying we light the world on fire, but the Bellas? Who wants to fucking hear that? I'm sure some people do. I'm sure they get great downloads. Way better than we ever will. But whatever. That's neither here nor there.
No, and this is not to pat ourselves on the back, but I've always been more of a fan of the fan-based podcasts. Mm-hmm. Whether it's us, even like Wrestling Soup, the podcasts that are done by regular folk, that don't have a dog in a race. Mm-hmm. They just kind of give their opinion on whether it's wrestling, whether it's music, video games, just life. I feel like those perspectives are better because when you get a podcast by a celebrity or a known person, everything is going to be done with a slant. Everything's going to be done with the expectation of you don't want to piss anybody off. So you're only going to say so much because maybe Vince will hire me back one day, or being overly PC because you don't want to offend this group, you don't want to offend that group. You know what I mean? I feel like with the fan based podcast, you get more of a stream of consciousness type of opinion. You really get more of the real. You get more of an authentic opinion on things as opposed to, like I said, I don't give a fuck. I'm never going to get hired by WWE, so I don't give a fuck what I say on this show.
Most of us aren't trying to stay in character either. We're just sitting here bullshitting, saying our real thoughts.
Yeah,
we're not trying to stay in character and save our job, like you said. So big difference. I mean, like the post wrestling guys, formerly the Law. Those guys are good too, man. Those guys are always out there, which is John Pollock and Wei Ting. How's that for a name?
And honestly, look, we're shitting on some of the established podcast names, but I will say one podcast that I do like, I don't know how often you listen to it, is The New Day. We just were talking about them earlier. I feel like they fucking have it down to a science in terms of they know how to toe the company line to a point, mm-hmm. but still call bullshit.
Yeah, which, again, they're towing the company line. So, that's like if John Cena had a podcast. Oh, my God. Could you imagine how boring that would be?
No, it would be, it would be 2 hours or an hour and a half of blaming the fans. New Day don't do that. Like, they give you their, like, if something's dog shit, they'll call it dog shit. But like I said, they'll do it in a politically correct type of way.
Oh. Just what we need, more politically correct podcasts. Anyway, speaking of politically correct, Anthony, perfect segue. An anonymous WWE employee went and told local officials in Florida that they're being forced to work during the COVID-19 outbreak. And this was put out there by a legit reporter, John Alba, who's a local reporter, who actually I think has a little line in the Sun Sentinel about wrestling weekly. I believe I remember that being down there.
And I gotta say that they missed the fucking prime opportunity. They named this anonymous WWE person John. This would have been a fucking perfect opportunity to name a Mark.
Oh,
I'm just saying, man. I know John is the go-to name when you don't want to reveal somebody's identity.
Yes.
But if you want to continue to tie in the wrestling aspects of these things, go with Mark. Go with Mark. Anytime you want to name an anonymous wrestler, wrestling fan, what have you, their name is always Mark. Always Mark.
It should be. I agree. I'm going to read this real quick. An anonymous WWE employee named John, likely for John Doe, submitted public comments at Tuesday's Orange County, Florida Board of County Commissioners. I'll read better. Give me a second. Meeting, and spoke out against the ongoing WWE tapings from the closed set performance center in Orlando, Florida. Local reporter John Alba noted that a WWE employee named John submitted public comment. I just read this basically, but I know, bear with me, and said they're being forced to work the WWE tapings despite the coronavirus stay-at-home orders. John reportedly said he's unable to speak out and feels he'll be fired from WWE if he approaches his higher-ups. John added that despite sanitary precautions at the Performance Center, employees are unable to maintain social distancing at the WWE tapings, and they have to touch others. They've requested the government shut down the WWE tapings so everyone can follow social distancing rules without fear of losing their jobs, according to Alba's report. Alba did add, while there isn't a really way to verify this, 100% absolutely a WWE employee, given the nature of this complaint. It should be noted there have been several within the company who have expressed concern, many privately, over the tapings continuing. And of course, Anthony, WWE responded to that.
Yes, sir. And I have the quote all lined up for you.
Please, go for it then. Absolutely.
So let's see here. This is WWE's response to Mr. John Doe. These accusations aren't true. Employees know they can confidentially go to human resources, not the public. Notwithstanding the appropriate protocol, no one would be fired if they were uncomfortable with their surroundings. We made accommodations for individuals upon request. I had to laugh there because just the human resources department, when you're talking about pro wrestling, it's just funny to me. I mean, I get it. You know, it's 2020. We live in a very litigious world. We live in a very corporate world. Mm-hmm. But man, just to hear the words human resources related to pro wrestling, it just something seems off about that to me. Yeah,
look, this whole thing is fucked up. We've said it before. Once again, I'm not one of these, this whole thing is just, it's going to blow over. We're all going to be fine. Let's just go out and do everything we need to do. But I think to say that this person is basically saying they're being held hostage and forced to work. Roman Reigns bowed out. I mean, listen, there's been people that have bowed out of going to Saudi. Daniel Bryan bowed out, and is he getting punished?
Yeah. I mean, I get that, but you got to figure, like, let's be honest though. You just named off two heavy hitters there.
I did. Okay.
Reigns and Bryan. I mean, so like the further down the food chain, a guy like Austin Theory, if he says, I'm not feeling comfortable with this, I'm going to go home. Yeah, he might not be punished in the moment. But they would definitely hold this against that guy going forward. They would, because they're that type of company.
I mean, look, we've said, I know they're petty. I know they are. But, man, if we found out that someone did and they didn't let them go home, talk about optics. Once again, a smarkism. The optics of it would look really bad on them. So, I don't know, man. I mean, trust me, I believe this person more than I believe, but this is more this person's feelings that they don't want to be there. You got to go to somebody. If you're that uncomfortable that you're willing to go to the county commissioners meeting, then you should have the balls to go to your boss and say, I am so uncomfortable. I don't care what you do to me, but I can't do this. I'm uncomfortable. I'm scared. Do what you got to do. I think it would take more balls to do what he did, to go to the county commissioners meeting than to go to your boss. That's just me. But I don't know, man. I mean, at some point you just got to fucking say, I mean, if you really feel like you're being forced to work, you need to air that shit out.
Yeah, and this goes to show you, like, have a backup plan. Have a fucking backup. I mean, I get it. for a lot of people, wrestling is the goal. It's the dream. WWE, AEW, wrestling on TV. But to your point, if you're at the point now where you feel like you're fearful of going to your boss about a legitimate pandemic, a legitimate health crisis that could affect you and those around you, then it's time to consider like maybe doing something else for a living. Like seriously, honest to God, if you're at that point where you don't feel like you can go to your boss during this time period and say, look, I don't feel comfortable, then it's time to just say fuck it and pack up, because the show's going to go on.
Yeah.
So if you genuinely feel uncomfortable, I feel like this: if you feel uncomfortable, your head is not going to be in the game. Wrestling, there's enough risk involved inherently just being a wrestler doing regular shit, match by match. If you're not fully focused on the moves and what you got to do in the ring, and you're focused on other shit, rightfully so, then you're going to become even more of a danger.
Well,
to yourself and the person you're in the ring with. So I feel like it's best just to kind of like take a step back and say, you know what? I'm not comfortable. I'm going to bow out and just keep it moving and just let the chips fall where they fall at that point.
Well, and I'm reading this article and I'm reading words, and it says a WWE employee, not a WWE talent. This could be anybody. This could be a cameraman. This could be a sound guy. This could be. Yeah, I mean, seriously, this really could be a behind the scenes person in the company, because it doesn't say a WWE talent, doesn't say WWE wrestler. It just says a WWE employee.
But let's be honest, though, I guarantee you, Vince is probably going to be in the warpath over this. You know why? Because that statement, that very PC, very corporate statement that they put out, you can't tell me that Vince is going to be on a warpath, because right now they're working on a closed set. So the number of people that are allowed in and out is very limited. It's a very core group of people. So you can't tell me that they're not going through every person with a fine-tooth comb to find out who the mole was. And if they're sticking to the CDC guidelines about the whole no more than 10 people in the space at a time, et cetera, it's not going to be hard to figure out who the snitch is. Which I feel like at that point you're going to make it, like you said earlier. The more I think about it, they're going to make it 10 times worse for themselves, because they now put it out there to the public, to the media, and now it's going to be like, motherfucker, you should have came to me first.
Yeah, and I would bet it's someone behind the scenes. Wouldn't it be funny if it was old Johnny Ace back there, old people power back there? Oh, I feel like we're not supposed to be here.
I know it's not, and I put money on it, but it would be hilarious if it came out that it was Heyman. I know it's not Heyman. No. Heyman he's not going to sacrifice his money for a fucking anything. But it would be hilarious to me if Heyman was the snitch. They're making me come here.
Yeah, if I had a guess, and obviously it's complete speculation because they're not telling us who it is, I would say it was a backstage person more than a talent. If I had a guess, just by reading the words and what I'm seeing and everything, I would say it's because, I mean, let's face it, if it was a talent, they'd get recognized, wouldn't they? Someone would take a picture. Someone would have that out there.
Oh yeah, if it was like a Becky Lynch or somebody like that, yeah, it would be all over Instagram, Facebook, like Becky Lynch seen walking in the Orange County courthouse.
Yeah,
yeah, you're right. That's actually a good point.
Yeah, so if I had a guess, I would guess this is a backstage person. Who, I mean, come on, man. I mean, you guys are going to be in high demand after this shit is over. So go to your boss, brother. Just tell him what you feel, and if he fires you, give him the double fingers and go home and drink some Steve Weisers.
So Box, I mean, all in all seriousness here, I mean, I feel like with all of the cases that are mounting, it's the law of averages at this point. And it's only a matter of time the way they're going about things. I don't care how much they sanitize that building. I don't care how much you practice social distancing, which there's no practicing of social distancing during the course of a wrestling match. Somebody is going to contract this shit. It's only a matter of, I don't wish it on anybody. I don't want it to see it happen, but it's the law of averages at this point. Do you think at that point the company may be forced to shut down if it comes out that somebody,
it's funny you mentioned that. Literally Friday, I was talking to my boss about that, because he was like, I was just sitting there talking to him, the owner actually, and he was sitting there and he's like, we have 60 people here on a day. That's what we got working there. And it takes one person to shut this company down for 2 weeks. And he said, I'm just scared. 60 people. Our law of averages are not good with that many people in one building. Now, we're doing everything we can. Again, he got these like $400 thermometers. He's got like 5 of them, where we're under the order to wear masks in public spaces. So we're all wearing masks in the building. Matter of fact, it's a $20. It's $20 if you don't have your mask on. Seriously. So it was funny because my boss was saying the same thing. But again, we're an essential business, so we got to run. I know WWE was deemed essential, but the law of averages for them is about the same. It's just not good. You're right, Anthony. Eventually one person, hopefully they won't. It could happen where none of them do get it. But it takes one, man. One. That's it. It just takes one person to shut that shit down. But I get what they're doing, man. They got to try to make money. They got to keep making money. They've got investors to keep happy. They've got people to keep happy. They've got this deal, that deal, and a deal here and a deal there. They're trying to be PC about it. They're trying to do everything they can, but I agree. I think eventually it's probably gonna the fit might hit the shan, is what I'm saying, Anthony.
Yeah, and like I said, obviously love my wrestling, but I feel like at this point it's just becoming more and more irresponsible to run these shows. I mean, at least with AEW, before shit really hit the fan, they had the foresight to tape a bunch of shit in advance to get them through the next couple months. Mm-hmm. And I feel like at this point, WWE would have been better off, look, working out some type of deal with the USA Network, Fox. Like, look, y'all see what's going on out here. We don't want to put our people at risk. And to me, for what? I feel like the more of these shows we watch, it's just like, it's becoming more and more pointless, in my opinion. You really can't forward storylines because you're not going to want to, for example, bring back a Ronda Rousey at a point where there's no crowd, because do you really want to blow your load on bringing her back to a fucking performance center with 0 people where you can kind of get 0 kind of payoff from it? And also,
I would. I still say I would bring her back and have her say, this is what I've always wanted. None of you pieces of shit fans out here to boo me or cheer me or whatever you want to do. Oh, I'd bring her back in as the worst heel in the world, talking shit about the audience. And when they came back, they would despise that bitch.
Yeah, I guess there's some merit to that. But even that, even taking out the COVID-19, could you imagine somebody getting hurt on one of these shows? WWE having to fit the bill for somebody that got hurt on an empty arena show for all intents and purposes?
Well, I mean, they're lucky one person didn't get hurt on Raw. Jesus Christ. Nia Jax almost killed Kairi Sane.
See, look, segues. Beautiful, ain't it?
Yeah. And that was perfect, actually. And we've got another little lawsuit to get into with WWE. Nah, it's more the XFL, but we'll get into it in a minute. Let's get this little Nia Jax thing. Nia Jax just made her return. Has hurt a few people over the past year? 2 years? 2 years.
pretty much.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna put this out. I'm gonna get this out the way. I'm convinced. I put this on social media, but I'm convinced more than ever. She's not full-blooded Samoan. She's adopted. She. No, I'm serious, dude. Cause think about it. Throughout the history of time, every Samoan we've ever seen has at the very least been passable in the ring. At best, been passable. And we've never seen, at the very least, even if they weren't that good in the ring, they didn't have the reputation of hurting people.
Right.
With the consistency that Nia Jax has hurt people. Now, when she was in it, she was in NXT for about a year or so. And I don't recall, I'm sure Antos will correct me if I'm wrong, I don't recall her having this type of rep for being injury prone, hurting other people.
No.
But she's been on the main roster for just about 4 years. And literally, whether it was Charlotte, I remember the match she had with Charlotte a couple years back, where she fucked up twice. It was when Charlotte was going for that moonsault to the outside, and as big as Nia is, there was no excuse for her not to catch her. I'm sorry, I'm just being honest.
I get it. I get it.
I'm just saying, this is not me even fat shaming or anything like that. But she's supposed to be a base. And then I don't know if you remember, Box. This might have been the same match. It had to be the same match. She goes for a shoulder breaker. Now, normally when they go for a shoulder breaker, you basically get down, bend the knee, person's shoulder, you kind of protect their neck. Their head should not touch the mat. Mm-hmm. She literally dropped this woman, spiked her. How Charlotte didn't come out of that with a broken neck? Because even Nia knew she fucked up because you saw the look on her. She had the oh shit look on her face,
yeah.
And one, Bailey, she screwed up Bailey's shoulder. And I think Alexa Bliss, she hurt her bestie. She hurt her in the match. I mean, so yeah, her reputation is not very good when it comes to injuries. And what irritates me the most about this situation is she put out that rant on Ronda Rousey and work shoot. I don't give a damn about any of that. This is the last person that should be calling out anybody's level of care in the ring.
And you want to know something funny? I got a video here. It's only 2 minutes long. It was. It looks like it was on Twitch. It looks like Paige is the host. It's Renee Young, Natty Neidhart, Billy Kay, Peyton Royce, and Nia is on here. And she starts talking about the time that, talking shit about Ronda hurting people. Here, let's just, obviously I can't do it justice. Here we go.
I know that, speaking of Natty saying a backbone, I remember back when, I'm not going to mention any names, but Lexi, other than Lexi's name, she's not on right now. Other than Lexi's name. But when Lexi was in, she was working at an angle, and she was continuously getting hurt in a certain angle with somebody. And I remember her not saying anything, specifically because she wanted to be a team player. She was so nervous. She wanted to be a team player. She didn't want to be somebody who oh, I can't do this. But me personally, from the outside looking in, I was so angry. I was like, no, I was like, she cannot do this anymore. I personally would not allow her to get back in the ring to get hurt again. Yeah. I had to go to the people, to the higher ups, and I had to put down, a stern foot and said, listen, Lexi is 5'0", 100 pounds, getting thrown around like a little rag doll and injured every night. I was like, put me in. I'm a 6 foot, 300 pound bitch. You can handle it. But so I understand, there's a certain thing of being quiet and taking it and being no, I want to be a team player. And then there's another side where it's shit, dude, I can't allow to see one of my good friends, not only my good friends, but my coworker who I want to be here in 5 years so I can continue to work her.
Right.
Getting hurt. I need to stand up and freaking be there for her and make sure that, she's going to be her livelihood's going to be okay when she's done here.
And it's also really scary feeling you work so hard to get these opportunities and you finally get it. It's crap. What's the right decision on that? 'Cause you feel like you're going to be passed by, or there's a million other people that could step into a role to whatever. It always makes you feel a little bit insecure about making that decision.
You have,
obviously.
All right. So there's that. And the only one looking at Nia You are so full of shit right now. Is Natty and Billy Kay. Billy Kay is just sitting there like,
bitch. I mean, and it's one of the, look, dude, look. And I get it, before anybody says it or for, fucking a wrestler on Twitter, but you never taken a bump. Well, so what? Like, I look at it like this. Box, if you go in for surgery and a surgeon fucks up your back or whatever the fuck, you would call that surgeon a shitty surgeon, correct?
Quack is what I would call him. A quack.
Yeah, so let's get that out of the way right from jump.
Yeah.
Just because just because you've never taken a bump doesn't mean your opinion isn't valid when you say somebody is shit. If you watch somebody time after time after time hurt somebody, come the fuck on. Like, I look at it like this. A couple of observations from what we just heard. Nia is painfully oblivious to the obvious.
Yep.
And I feel like she comes across as very entitled.
B.
I remember reading something when she considers herself like a locker room leader. Where the fuck did that come from? Like seriously, I heard that shit. I pulled the Tim Allen. Because I'm like seriously, and it's like WWE seems that they're going down a dangerous road with this one. I get it. She's The Rock's cousin. You don't want to piss him off, but at the same time, I feel like Rock is a reasonable enough guy that if you went to him like, Rock, look, I know she's your family and all that kind of stuff, but look, man, like, you can look at the footage yourself. Look. I mean, she's not ready for prime time. She's not ready for prime time. You was good. The Wild Samoans was good. Snooker was good. Fucking the Tonka Kid was good. Haku, fucking Barbarian. Long line, long lineage of talent there, which I'm starting to think is the Performance Center's fault. Because if you remember, Nia was trained strictly by the Performance Center. She didn't get that Wild Samoan training. Because you figure like a lot of the Samoans, they basically were self-trained. They kind of kept it in the family. Right. So I'm wondering if that's the problem.
I don't know, man. But and again, we're talking about the main thing we're talking about here is when just on Monday, Nia Jax put up Kairi Sane for basically a buckle bomb, and basically snapped her head off the bottom of the turnbuckle, and the bottom rope in the corner,
and walked away,
and just turned around and walked away like she didn't give a fuck. Kairi Sane's head flew off of that thing. Nia Jax did respond on Twitter, and she probably should have reread this before she sent it. It says,
she's a heel. Remember that, Box, before you read it. She's a heel.
Okay, I'm going to read it exactly how she said it. Exactly. So people don't think I'm an idiot here. I know how to speak. Well, you know what I mean. Nia Jax said, since at Kairi Sane WWE can't anything about it, maybe at Ronda Rousey would like to try #Samoan for real. Can't anything about it? You mean can't do 2 fucking letters you can't fucking put in there and you can't reread? My God, what the fuck were you? I mean, what were you, at catering? Oh, sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he probably was. And also look, we're forgetting an obvious one. When she fucking cold cocked Becky, broke her nose and gave her a concussion with a straight punch to the face,
busted her face open.
Yes, and look, dude, look. I've never gone to wrestling school, but I'm pretty sure on day fucking one of the things that they teach you, right along with that back bump and tucking your neck, is a fucking working punch. Mm-hmm. That's something they probably teach you on day 1, a goddamn working punch. And it's, look, dude, look. The more I think about this Nia shit, the more I'm thinking like I just wish WWE would cut fucking bait, man. Like literally, like she's been around for a long fucking time, and she hasn't, to me. She had the one match in about 6-7 years on the roster. She had that one match with Ronda a few months back. That was pretty good.
Right.
And I look at it like And Ronda Rousey, here's a novice. I mean, I get it. She grew up a wrestling fan. She trained hard, blah, blah, blah. But Ronda Rousey, with her limited experience base, still did not manage to hurt as many people in 1 year as fucking Nia Jax seems to do every 3 to 4 months. literally, like, how the fuck you call yourself a locker room leader and you're fucking bitches up on a damn? It seems like a ongoing. This is like an ongoing gimmick.
Yeah,
and I feel like accidents happen, people get fucked up, but I feel like she's going to end up being very detrimental to WWE going forward because it's once again the law averages. She's going to fuck up. And it's going to be a situation where the person won't be able to come back for. You look at the Drive situation with D'Lo. D'Lo's a very competent wrestler. D'Lo never had the reputation of being reckless in the ring. It was just one of those things where on that particular night, a spot that they had done time after time after time that just went wrong that night. D'Lo didn't hurt anybody before that. He didn't hurt anybody after that. It was just a freak thing. And that's dealing with a trained professional. How the fuck, like I said, like you got this Nia situation, it's only a matter of time, dude, before she gets in the ring with the wrong person where either they gonna fuck her up or she gonna fuck them up permanently. The art of professional wrestling is about getting in the ring, making it look as real as possible. I'm stealing the Bret Hartism without hurting the other guy. And I know you're not a Bret Hart fan, but for as much shit as people talk about Bret Hart, you never hear not one person say that Bret was reckless in the ring, that he hurt somebody.
No.
Even with
I'll give him that.
Corbin.
I'll give him that.
Yeah, even with Corbin, like, what's the thing about him? Yeah, he's boring as shit. He don't do nothing for me in the ring. I know he don't do nothing for you. But once again, he's another guy that has the rep. He's safe in the ring. He's easy.
Wow.
And it's just like, Nia needs to talk to these people. Like, how the fuck do you be around? How the fuck can you do anything for 6, 7, 8 years and still habitually suck at it? Yeah, like seriously, dude. Like, I feel like it's time to cut bait. I don't see how WWE as a professional company could look at this shit, and it's not like it's a one-time thing. This is an ongoing thing,
right?
Dude.
Yeah.
This is a problem. I'm sorry, I mean, like overtake, but this Nia thing just like has been irritating the fuck out of me.
No, I get it, dude. But and you just said a few minutes ago that, I know, she's The Rock's cousin and this and that. But if we learned anything with these releases, it's that WWE is about business. They don't give a shit who you are or who you're related to. Shot time, excuse me.
Yes, sir.
My order is served. I asked for a shot and I received. Cheers to Anthony in the chat room.
Cheers to Box and Mrs. Box. Chat room.
Anthony said cheers to Mrs. Box. Thank you, baby. Love you. Thank you. We definitely learned that they are about business and business only. They don't care what's going on. They don't care who you are, and they don't care who you're related to. They will get rid of you because you know what? We are all replaceable. Every one of us. I don't care. Even, let me tell you something. If John Cena went out there and fucked up, they'd get rid of him. They would have gotten rid of him if he went out there and fucked up. If John Cena went out there and got a DUI, you don't think they would have tried to get rid of his ass? I do. I do.
Early on, but Cena's not a moron. So
well, I mean,
that would ever happen.
I mean, obviously now, a different story. But listen, the company doesn't care. Everyone's replaceable. And, I say that, but the problem is WWE tries to recreate. They want another Steve Austin. They want another Rock. You can't do that.
I feel like this. It depends. Yeah.
No, go ahead. No, I was done.
No, I'm sorry. I feel like it's based on your talent level too.
Right.
Because you look at the Usos. Between the Usos, how many DUIs have they had? But I feel like their talent level is kind of like what saves them, what kind of justifies their place on the roster. But when you look at Nia, it's just like she has no really redeemable qualities. I mean, literally 6-7 years, we can only name 1 or 2 good matches. No, that to me isn't worth keeping around.
Well, I can name 1 decent match. I mean, I've never really looked at a Nia match and gone, that was really good. So I don't know, but I definitely wanted to play that video though earlier because it kind of just tied everything into the spot on Raw, and seems like she just look. I know she's a heel, but she just doesn't give a fuck. I don't think, and like you said, she's a little delusional. I kind of agree with that. She's a little delusional. She really just feels because of who her family is, she should just be the locker room leader. And, so I went to the higher ups and I said, put me in there with that bitch. Well, you lost. So
I put it to you like this. I talked about the rich Samoan legacy, Samoan heritage, and it is. I mean, honestly, there have been a few duds in the bunch. But I look at it like this: when I can put Manu and Tamina over you as in terms of work rate, in terms of safety in the ring, and look, Manu and Tamina aren't much better in the ring. Damn. But once again, those are two individuals that didn't have the rep of hurting people.
You just got both the Snookas involved.
Like, seriously, I mean, come on, man.
Damn, you just brought Sim into it.
No, Manu. Remember Legacy?
Oh, that's right. Rosie, that's right. I'm sorry.
No, Manu. It was when Legacy was like a 4-man group. It was Orton, it was DiBiase, it was Cody, and it was Manu.
Manu was what's his real name? I forget.
I can't remember his real name off top. I'm sure Antox will give it to us.
I'm sure
he was basically in the group for maybe 2 or 3 weeks because he wasn't ready for prime time.
Right.
and they did a storyline writing him off TV. It basically was a shoot type situation where they basically told him he couldn't cut the mustard and they beat the fuck out of him.
I remember. You know what? Oh, yes, that's right. He was an Alpha Junior. I remember I had just kind of got back into watching wrestling again. And I saw Manu for probably 2 or 3 weeks.
And then he was gone.
And I'll tell you when I actually got back into wrestling, and I know this because of just who was there and who wasn't. I know that the Deuce and Domino gimmick only lasted 2 weeks when I got back into wrestling. If that gives you a timeline. Because I remember the Sim Snuka promo where he came out and he's like, I'm Sim Snuka, son of Jimmy. And then the next week, he was gone. He was gone.
Yeah, I feel like his only claim to fame is when he botched the Undertaker's once again another one. The Undertaker. Remember when the Undertaker lawn darted himself in that Shawn Michaels match at WrestleMania?
I have seen that. Yes.
And Snuka was the gimmick cameraman that was supposed to catch him. And the only thing that saved the Undertaker's life is the fact that he has fucking traps.
Yeah.
And he has a well-developed neck. That's the only thing that saved him because he literally landed full force on his head and neck.
You sure it wasn't that Sarah neck tattoo? That's probably what saved him.
Yeah. Might have been.
I saw an article today. I don't know why it came out today on how Undertaker's ex-wife Sarah was like the biggest bitch that people ever met. And I'm like, why is this coming out now? Leave the woman alone. My God.
Was it Ringside News?
No, I don't think it was.
Was it wrestling related? A wrestling related website?
I don't know. I scrolled past it. I looked at the fucking headline and I'm like, why do this to this woman now? And I scrolled past it. I just scrolled past it. I'm like, yeah, I can't even contribute to this fucking delinquency or whatever it is. But
DDP's career was sacrificed for that woman. Think about that shit for a minute, man. Think about that shit for a minute. Literally, this woman pinned I mean, not to say that DDP's career was going that well, WWE career was going that well to begin with, but I knew his career was over when he was doing jobs to fucking Sarah on Raw. And she did, and it wasn't even just like a fuck finish. It was literally, she did the Undertaker style pin on this dude.
I remember.
And I'm just like, this ain't the same. He's far removed from the DDP at WCW. Those days are long gone.
Yeah, and Antox is saying that Deuce and Domino gimmick only lasted a year. So, I I came in right at the end of
the tail end of it.
I came in right at the end of that year, which
I want to say it was like 06, 07-ish.
That makes sense. I mean, I fell out and came back in and fell out and came back in. I drank a lot and came back in.
So did you have like a Shaheem moment where, you know, like he just looked up and like, oh shit, John Cena and the Miz are top guys. Okay, I'm out.
It wasn't even that, dude. I would just be like, I would miss a week and then another week and another week and another week. And then once I started living on my own again, at 21, I lived on my own. And then again, and then at 22, I had a little issue. And then at 23, I moved back out on my own. And that's when I really got back into wrestling, when I was 23. So that gives me a little bit of an idea. And at my apartment, we were watching it. And then when I got my house, we had parties at my house because I had black boxes. So we would have fucking pay-per-view parties and shit. So good times. But I've mentioned it before, but.
No, I'm actually glad you brought this up, but kind of like it segues into something that I actually wanted to get into a little bit.
Okay.
So I didn't listen to the whole thing, but I did catch this little piece. I was listening to Bischoff's latest podcast episode, right? And one of the topics that he got into was like, the current, situation with the pandemic and the empty arena shows. And he's not sure if it was possible, given the current climate and all, but if it was up to him, he would personally put things on ice until we can kind of get back to some semblance of normalcy, because he feels like, in his opinion, that doing the shows right now with no crowd, without that energy, without that, it's basically chipping away at the foundation of the shows. And hypothetically speaking, you're losing viewers. I mean, WWE's already been losing. It's been established. They've been losing viewers over the past bunch of years, 5%, 10%, 15%, et cetera, et cetera. But there's no guarantee that once you lose these people now, there's not a guarantee that they're going to come back when things get back to normal. Because you look at it like now, like people are home right now. People are home, and there's not much in terms of competition for WWE or wrestling in general.
Right. And
the ratings are still sliding. Like, I don't know, there's some merit to what he's saying. Like, these ratings are becoming embarrassing. I don't care whether you're an AEW fan, WWE fan. If you can't get people to engage in your product now, when they literally don't have a whole lot of options. You have people binge watching all kinds of shit, reality shows, NYPD shows, NYPD Blue, whether it's old cop shows or whatever. And wrestling's the only original content on television right now cannot get any of these people engaged. That's a problem, dude. That's a problem.
It is a problem. But right now, I mean, like I said, I've said before, people just aren't worried about wrestling right now. They've got a lot of shit to worry about. They've got bills to worry about. And I'll tell you what, I wouldn't doubt if a lot of people are cutting the fucking cable at this point. That's one less bill we got to pay. Let's just get internet.
Yeah, that should come on, dude. Like I cut the cord a long time ago. Like literally, if you got a stable, like you got a Fire Stick, you got a laptop, a computer, that's all you really need, dude. Like literally, anything you want to watch, you can find online.
We cut the cable a couple of years ago, and then we called to get better internet, and it was cheaper to get the cable and internet than just the internet.
Oh, they got you with the bundle.
Well, and I mean, we have basic, man. I have no movie channels. I mean, I've got, the only thing we upgraded to was so I could watch USA. So we got like the second tier. We really got basic shit. And I'll tell you the truth, man, I really only watch 3 or 4 shows on cable. I watch AEW. I watch Raw. Well, you know what? I watch the wrestling shows that we talk about, all 4 of those. I watch SWAT and Blue Bloods. And I was watching Criminal Minds, or Criminal Minds is over now. It's over. It's not. There's no more episodes. So that's not. So 2 shows after wrestling is all I watch on cable. That's it.
Yeah, and honestly, like I look at it like this: I get my wrestling fix from I got WWE Network, High Spots. Mm-hmm. Those shows you just named, I got Hulu.
Right.
like I said, those 3 streaming services alone are under $50 for me. So yeah. Because I especially when you get Comcast, man, Comcast is just, and I use Comcast for my internet because they do provide good internet if you willing to pay for it, but they're raping people when it comes to the cable. They're literally raping them with no condom.
Oh, they all are. They all are. And thank you, Sacha Baron Corbin, for putting out for posting the Deuce and Domino debut. I forgot how much Deuce was trying to be Andrew Dice Clay before I saw the jacket that was basically the Dice Rules jacket. But I do remember that. But yeah, listen, I said last week I'm getting a little tired of these. They're just becoming very uninteresting. These shows that have no crowds, it's just kind of, we thought it was going to be for a couple of weeks, then we're a couple of months, and now we're at, what are we going on, 3 months now, Anthony?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, almost. Yeah,
almost 3 months.
No, about 2 months. Almost 2 months.
Almost 2. It was. See, it feels like 3.
It feels like that. Yeah, but it started last month,
which is bad. And I mean, look, I've said before, I really don't think that they should take an actual break. WWE has so much footage that they could keep up with Raw. They could show you so many things about Raw. So there's thousands, literally thousands of episodes that they could replay and show you and do this and do flashbacks and all this stuff and build characters. Huh? In the middle of it, they could build characters, Anthony.
and look at it like this. Like, they've been doing, they've been pulling footage and shows from the network for ESPN, and they've been doing gangbuster numbers. And you can't tell me that wouldn't work for USA or Fox. I get it. It's not original content, and USA and Fox, they're paying for original content. But if I'm a big wig at a USA or Fox, I'm looking at these numbers like, it can't get any worse if we kind of like pivot, if we switch directions. I mean, like literally, what do you have to lose at this point? People are like literally. It seems like every week we don't report the ratings week by week, but anytime I see the ratings, it feels like it's always a record low. Not since November of 1995 has Raw scored a rating this low. I mean, like, what do you have to lose at this point?
Nothing.
By trying something a little different.
They've got nothing to lose, and they have everything to gain. The worst that can happen is your numbers bounce back. That's it, man. That's all that could fucking happen. And it might happen. You never know. Now, AEW, again, I know they've halted production right now, which is great. They've done what they did. They went in, they taped a shitload of shows. They've got a month of shows taped, so we've got only 1 or 2 more left, and then we'll see what they do from there. But WWE's got so much footage, so much shit that they could show. And I agree with you, Anthony. If I was one of the higher ups at Fox or USA, I'd be like, hey, fuck it, let's try it.
And who knows? Maybe because they're doing like a 25 years of a Triple H celebration
on SmackDown. That's right,
on SmackDown. So I don't know. Like, obviously they're still gonna have matches on it that they're promoting, but I mean something like that. I mean, not the biggest Triple H fan, but I'm like, that's a hook.
Yeah, we don't
for
need
somebody.
That.
Yeah, somebody that's a Triple H fan. I mean, like, but I'm just saying stuff like that. Like, you could do like a on 316 day, instead of having, when they did that 316 Raw, instead of having Stone Cold come out there and be a parody of himself and not be the Stone Cold that we all know and love, how about do like a tribute show? It's Austin 316 day. We show his best highlight, his best moments, best matches, best promos. You could have even did it like, okay, he's in town. We already paying him to be in town. Have him do wraparound segments where he just introduces the segments.
Dude.
Like, like my favorite, have him do like a tribute show where he names his favorite matches, his 2 or 3 favorite matches.
Dude, Monday was 420. It should have been all RVD and Matt Riddle matches.
No, well, probably not.
I'm joking on that one, obviously.
As an RVD fan, especially, the more I see his lifestyle choices, that probably wasn't possible. Because they're PG right now, and also because he's working for the competition still.
I know.
Well, whatever competition.
It was a joke. It was a joke, Anthony.
I know it was a joke. I'm just saying, that's actually a good idea. That would have been a fantastic idea.
Just 3 hours of Matt Riddle going, bro. All right. That would have been great. But yeah, man, look, but now the problem with a higher up going, fuck it, we can just do this, is it's breach of contract on their end. So if Vince ever got tricky and wanted to back out of the deal, all I would have to say is, hey, this says we can only do this many shows, and they changed it, so we did this many shows, so that was never in the contract. That's breach of contract.
Yeah.
And if you don't think Vince is that fucking, if you don't think Vince is that
slick, I would say Vince wouldn't do that. But then I'm like, yeah, what? Look who I'm talking about.
No,
he doesn't give a fuck about loyalty.
Listen, you don't make billions in any business without being a slick fish. I will say that right now. And I mean, literally, they would have to renegotiate contracts at that point. That would be a complete renegotiation.
Yeah, because even though circumstances, when it came time to re-up and all that, and I did mention a couple weeks ago about how I guess WWE's contractually they're only allowed a certain number of tape shows per year, like 2, 3. Mm-hmm. So if you get into the habit of doing like highlight shows for God knows how long at this point, like you said, even if it's USA's call, WWE could down the line say, well, you kind of breached the contract, and like now we can renegotiate because you changed the terms of the deal, blah blah blah. Now you should have to give us X amount of dollars more, or we're gonna be like, fuck off.
It's a shitty way to do business, but listen, it's kind of like if you ship something into a company and you forget to send paperwork, and they go, oh, just go ahead and send it over, and no one ever signs it, and they say, oh, we never received that. That's happened to us before. That's happened to me before, to our company. Matter of fact, it was for a $23,000 order, but that's neither here nor there. Shit happens like that. So people do, that is a business thing, and unfortunately, it's how companies make money. It's how companies get product for free, and it's how companies do shit. Not all companies, some companies. But anyway, we're not going to go on a business tangent here. But speaking of companies doing shitty things and shitty things happening to companies, real quick, I just want to mention this story, and because I'm expecting to see more of these, if not a class action lawsuit. TMZ has reported that a former employee is suing Vince for wrongful termination. Now, this is over the XFL. Oliver Luck, who was the commissioner of the now defunct XFL, has sued Vince for wrongful termination when the league folded last week. He states he was sent a letter of termination on April 9th, which he said was full of untruths. He is claiming he fulfilled his duties and was wrongfully terminated and wants to be paid for the remainder of his contract. That's all the details I have. Anthony, you got something to say? I can hear it over there. Go ahead.
Oh, no. I'm just like, I guess it's like, it's not really too much to say until we get more information. I feel like because of how the XFL literally, like I said, I'm not going to put nobody can really realistically beat up on Vince too much over this because it's very much circumstantial. Mm-hmm. But I feel like we're going to hear he's not going to be the first one to kind of come out and call for wrongful termination. So yeah. I feel like this is one of those stories we have to give like a couple weeks. Mm-hmm. Because I guarantee you sometimes it only takes one person to get the ball rolling. Yeah. Where it might have been some people off to the sidelines that were going to cut their losses, but if they see the league commissioner going like, no, fuck that, Vince McMahon gonna give me something. Now you want to see lower tier people like, hey, maybe there is some money to be had here. So yeah, I feel like this is only the beginning of this story.
Yeah, like I said, I could see possibly a class action lawsuit if this lawyer really decides to put the word out there and make some real money. Or I could see a few more cases like this happening. So
that one lawyer that was in charge of the fucking concussion lawsuit, he might, if he's behind this, he might actually get a win this time.
You never know. But I did bring this up as basically a heads up. This is something we're probably going to be talking about as more details come out, because I kind of want to see what happens with this. Again, when a company goes bankrupt like this, suddenly, especially under these circumstances, there's going to be a lot of crazy shit going down. So I'm going to keep my eyes open. You guys just keep your ears open, and we'll get back to you when we do hear something. Now, real quick, I know we were going to, like I said, we're kind of tying news into Raw here. And then I guess we'll get to the kind of main event here, which is the Sami Zayn thing, which actually gives a little AEW news also in the middle of it. If you're wondering who's behind some of the pushes right now, like Shayna Baszler, Drew McIntyre, Aleister Black, Murphy, Andrade, and even Austin Theory, according to Dave Meltzer, it is all Paul Heyman.
Not surprising.
No, and his quote right here is, "This isn't Vince. This is definitely Heyman." And he was brought up because, and he's talking about Austin Theory, and he was brought up because they needed somebody for WrestleMania, and they were impressed enough. They liked the idea of the 3-person stable with the Zelina Vega, with Andrade, Garza, and Austin Theory.
And I gotta say right off the bat, I mean, we're not really going to get into breaking down Raw, but I just real quick, I gotta say, nothing against McIntyre. I'm loving what they're doing with him. Mm-hmm. But I can't remember whether it was you, might have been Smart, praising the idea of this 3-person factions, this faction that Zelina Vega was putting together with Theory, Andrade, and Garza, how it had a lot of potential. So over the course of 2 weeks, we've seen McIntyre decisively beat 2 of the 3 members of this group. Literally, he's literally beat the entire group with ease.
Okay,
3-on-1, 1-on-3 every time.
I see where you're going.
Like, I just feel like their legs are being cut off before they can actually turn into something.
I don't think so, because they're also trying to build Drew as a fucking beast. I really don't listen. And I didn't realize, I'm reading this article here, Austin Theory has only been with WWE since August of 2019. He was a big star in Evolve, but only been with the company since August 2019, which is pretty fucking impressive that he's already up there on the main roster. And
He's under 25.
Yeah, and I'll say this. It must have been smart saying that, because I'm not a big fan of Austin Theory. I think he's just a plug-and-play guy. And I don't see where he fits in with Zelina Vega, Andrade, Garza, 3 heavy Latino talents, and Austin Theory?
Look, dude, like back in the I kind of used to say the same thing back in the day about the Filthy Animals, where you had it was basically you could tell what they were going for. They were going for like a Latino DX, and then you see Billy Kidman. I'm like, Conan, I get it. Ray, I get it. Eddie Guerrero, rest in peace, I get it. But then you see like is Billy Kidman like the token white guy? So everybody just goes, okay, we get him. They're cool now.
No, but he had a good tan and wet hair,
and a sweet wife beater.
So I totally forgot about that. Thank you for reminding me, Anthony. But again, listen, I'm not saying the stable is bad. Zelina Vega, we did see a little too much of. I mean, I could never get enough of her. She looked amazing. But there was like 4 matches with her on Raw. By the way, there were 5 women's matches on Raw. 5. You heard me right, 5.
But I will say she was good on commentary.
She was.
She's a good manager. I mean, like I said, I get what you're saying. It was a little bit, as much as, look, I'll never complain about looking at that woman. God, well, I never complain about looking at that woman. But it was a little bit of overexposure this week.
And those little jewels under her eyes really annoy the living fuck out of me. I don't know why. I would hate them there personally, but
trust me, Bob. They, with the right amount of pressure, they come off.
I get that, but Jesus, those things. I mean, I just sit there and be like, my God, I don't like anything except sunglasses near my eyes. I don't know, man. That's all. That's the only thing I like. Believe it or not, that's actually kind of with me. Because I remember when Charlotte went through that phase where she had that fucking shit on her face. I don't know if it's like, yeah, that was awful. It was awful. And I hated it. I thought, look, man, I thought even when Samoa Joe did that shit, when he had basically had a dick on the side of his face. And people were like, yeah, he's got that looks badass. I'm like, yeah, go get that tattoo. Go ahead.
Oh God, please don't. Oh, that was gold.
What?
That whole era of that's when he was kidnapped, right, by the ninjas.
Mm-hmm.
And he went through a period where he was carrying around like a big ass Rambo knife that he never used.
That was when they had
and he started wearing pants.
No, and
ass pants.
Oh, and they used the Japanese wrestler as who was it that they had?
Oh, was it Okada?
It wasn't Okada. Was it Okada? Antox, please help us here. And they bitched him out. They made him.
Or was it Tanahashi?
No, it wasn't Tanahashi. But they had a wrestler. They had a Japanese, a very talented, Nation of Violence Joe. And it wasn't him, but they had one guy there, and they used him as basically Kato from Green Hornet.
Yeah,
was his character, the Bruce Lee character. Awful. So stupid. Fucking dick on his face, trying to act like a fucking tough guy. Thank you, Joe, for being who you are now. My God. There's another guy we haven't seen in a while. I guess he's quarantined. But it was Okada. Anthony. You were correct the first time.
Thank you.
All right. Hey, I can admit when I'm wrong, and I was wrong. It was Okada. Very good. But yeah, fucking ridiculous. But yeah, those little jewels on Zelina Vega's eyes, just, yeah. Again, I just don't like anything near my eyes. I got a weird thing about that. I don't like anything near my eyes. Like when they would show like these Criminal Minds shows where people were like cutting out eyes, I can't do it. I just, I look away. I just look away.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. But I guess I can see your point. I guess this is Heyman kind of giving Vince's world beater, because obviously WWE's always been about the overpowering, unbeatable babyface champion. But I just feel like there are better ways to accomplish that goal. I mean, I get what you're saying. They're trying to build up Drew, but another reason why I'm kind of like starting to turn on these empty arena shows, I feel like they're having him run through people at too fast a rate. He's already beaten Andrade clean. He's already run through his crew damn near. He's wrestling Rollins at the next pay-per-view.
Yeah, but
I don't know. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just saying. Yeah, but right now, during these times, they really only have a limited roster they're using.
Yeah.
I mean, look, man, we can sit here and this is why we've been so lax with the reviews of these shows, because we can shit on them all we want, but they're really only using a handful of people. All right, 2 handfuls of people. That's really all they're using. A handful of women and a handful of guys. That's really all they're using right now. And I mean, they can't just keep bringing in jobbers for him to run through, because what's that going to do to him? Oh, well, he ain't beating no one that anyone gives a shit about. So this is the choice we have. This is where we're at. And I really don't think these guys... The only thing that I think was fucked up is when those guys were basically bitched out, when they didn't want to get in the ring with Drew, That I might not have done. But I don't think they're losing anything by having the champion, the new champion that they're building, beating them down. I personally don't.
Okay, that's fair. I will say all of the negativity aside, I am very much looking forward to the climbing the corporate ladder match, because apparently the Money in the Bank match has already been taped. It's already in the can. Thankfully, no spoilers have been leaked. You know, I am very interested in how this match is going to play out, because have you seen the photos? Photos did get leaked about the actual setup on the roof with the ladders and all that shit.
I did.
So I'm very much looking forward to how these ladder matches play out.
It's going to be cool. I can't even lie. It's definitely interesting. And I will tell you, the one really good thing about No Fans is that we are not getting spoilers. I got to admit it. We're not getting spoilers, at least, at minimum. We can shit on these shows. We can do whatever we want, but at minimum, they're a surprise. We're not getting spoilers. And it's a good thing. I mean, we can predict all we want, but it's good to not be getting spoilers knowing that they're taped. So, good shit. True. Good shit, in my opinion. So, but
I'm trying to think. Raw was Raw. I mean, I did get a kick out of the MVP Apollo Crews match. Just because of the trash talk from MVP.
Yeah, MVP. Listen, I'm an MVP fan, but
he showed his age
a little bit.
No, but come on, you didn't get a chuckle out of. Come on, I've been in the ring with Rikishi.
Yeah,
I've been in the ring with The Undertaker. I've been in the ring with Kane. Who are you?
The funny part was it was taking him like 30 seconds to think of names to do. In between hits,
no. I guess he was just like, don't say Benoit.
Batista.
Who can I say?
Yeah, because he threw Batista in there, and I was like, oh shit, damn, Batista. All right, damn.
Yeah, because he's one of those guys. Like he credits Benoit for like really helping him become a better wrestler in WWE. So I wonder if he was just thinking like, I don't want to say this name, so who can I think of real quick? Batista.
Batista. All right.
I guarantee you that's what he was doing too. He was just trying to mentally stop himself, because obviously no crowd noise. Which once again, that's another. Look, I get it. Like Boxman, I gotta say this. Circumstances aside, just have people come to the ring. I feel like that's probably the thing that's really kind of like makes these a lot of these shows kind of hard, because I get it, people are used to it, but I guarantee you this is a Vince call. Have them come out and still sell for the imaginary fans. Just act like they're still there. Act like everything's totally normal. I feel like that's that because at that point you're making these people look like fools, bro.
No,
you're making them look like fools coming to the ring, playing up.
I disagree. I gotta disagree on that. That's still the entertainment part, is the entrance. It's still the entertainment part. It really is. It's part of their whole character. It's part of their whole nuance. You've got to do it, man. You've got to do it. Thank God they're not doing run-ins anymore. I mean, they are and they aren't, but at least playing music during run-ins, I think, is a ridiculous thing. But I get why they're letting these guys come out and do their entrances and it's still an entertaining. Your entrance should be as much of a part of your character as anything else. So I have no issues with it, to be honest with you. I respectfully disagree with you, sir.
I'll take that. I just think it's kind of goofy. I don't know, man. I just think it's kind of goofy when you have people like coming out to the ring, and especially don't even get me started during a course of matches. Where they'll lock in a hold, and they'll like be looking out to the crowd like they're waiting for the chairs to break into applause.
Yeah, they are. But let's see. Anyone really we need? Oh, you know what? really quickly, I do want to get into one quick match on Raw. If I get into any match on Raw, it's going to be the Andrade versus Akira Tozawa. This match proved one thing to me, and I don't know about you, Anthony. They are missing the boat when it comes to Tozawa. Holy talented motherfucker. Andrade is very talented, but Tozawa is a talented guy that can probably go out there and have a really, really good match with a lot of people. And I think they are really missing the boat with this guy, and they've got to pick up some slack and put this guy out there more. I don't give a fuck if he speaks English or not. I really don't. The guy is amazing in the ring. He's got charisma. He's talented, and they're missing the boat. Go ahead, Anthony.
Oh, very much agree. Like, and he's been with the company for a while. Like, I remember seeing him on the indies, like Evolve, Dragon Gate. The guy's been around for a while, and he can fucking work. And I feel like the saddest part for me watching this Raw was watching him during his entrance. Because it's like I said, I don't know the guy personally. I'm not a licensed therapist or anything like that. Don't even play one on TV. Mm-hmm. But body language.
Yeah.
He if you go back, and I implore anybody, go back and watch this past Monday's Raw and watch Tozawa during the course of his entrance. He looked like a defeated man walking to that ring. Mm-hmm. Like, he's just like, what the fuck am I doing with my life right now? And he's one of those guys, he's been there for a while. And like, once again, I'm not going to be one of these guys that thinks everybody needs to be a top guy. Everybody deserves to get pushed at that elite level. But there's something to be said for allowing guys to show more than what they're capable of.
Yes.
Here's a guy who, like I said, you can't tell me he can't be a solid upper mid card level talent for you. Have a consistent spot on, like, at that Intercontinental title, U.S. title level, consistently. Like I said, he's a guy that can work. He go in there. He's what you call a good mechanic. He can go in there with anybody. He's like he's Asian. He's Asian Bobby Eaton.
Ooh,
seriously, you know how, like, Bobby Eaton had that rep for being able to get in the ring with anybody.
That's a big
compliment.
Like
the most charismatic. Yeah, and and this is not me shitting on Bobby Eaton's he's a damn good worker.
No, it's a compliment completely.
Yeah, but like, he's a guy who, like I said, he wasn't the most charismatic guy, but he could work. You could put Bobby Eaton on the card with anybody, and he would pull a good match out of it. Tozawa is the same way right now.
Yep.
And I feel like it's a crime and a shame. Like, during this time period, this is the time to really kind of push a guy like that to see what he's got.
Right.
Put him in there with different people. Like, don't make him the jobber to the stars. And I feel like he's in that spot now, that like a guy like Val Venus was at a particular point in time. Where Val, like, I mean, I use him just because, say what you want about his political views and recent commentaries aside, but Val Venus at his peak was a good worker. Mm. He could work.
I'm sorry. Did you say Val Venus?
Hello, ladies.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
I just want to make sure I heard that right.
He got saddled with a gimmick that obviously was going to hinder him going forward, but you take that away, you have a good wrestler, good promo guy. But they literally would put him out there against a Triple H whenever they needed somebody to get a good match out of somebody, but he was ultimately going to get squashed.
Right.
And I feel like Tozawa is more than that. I'm not saying he needs to go out there and be a Goldberg. He needs to be a world beater.
No.
But I'm like, come on. Like, he's a guy that he's going to be one of those guys that I feel like is going to get released within the next couple months. And he's going to be one of those guys that's going to go out in the indies and kill it. And it's a shame. Like, they have this guy at their disposal.
Yeah. And
I mean, you do something with him. Like, he's more than what they're allowed. He's more than a jobber to the stars type of wrestler, in my opinion.
And I totally agree. No, this guy, no, he's not going to be champion or WWE, Universal Champion, anything like that. But he's definitely got more than being out there every 6 to 7 months for just a bullshit match. And this match with him and Andrade was incredible. It was a really good match. And like I said, I really think that Tozawa showed that he's got more in the fucking tank than a lot of these fucking guys out there. And I'm sorry, but the only thing that stood out to me in that match was they've got this fucking guy and they're fucking using him like this. What the fuck are they doing? This guy has so much talent and they're just fucking letting it slip through their goddamn fingers.
And you honestly, and I hate to say this, but you know, a lot of his best stuff, which a lot of people unfortunately will never see in terms of his WWE run, is on that fucking 205 Live show.
Yep.
I mean, like, if you go through the archives, like I said, I haven't seen every episode, but I would occasionally pop in watch an episode, and he, like I said, he would be on there like doing some incredible shit.
Right.
But it's just because of the lack of effort they put into actually promoting that show and making it feel like a big deal, nobody will ever see it. I call it the land of the forgotten classics. Like those shows like that, like Main Event, you'll hear, oh, so and so they're having fantastic matches on Superstars or 205 Live, and it's like, dude, put that shit on the main show, or at the very least, you got 3 hours, you got 5 hours of original content. You can't put together. I've said this countless times. You can't put together like a 30-second hype package subscribe to the network, because this is what you're missing on 205 Live. This is what you're missing on the Main Event. Like, at the very least, infomercial. Advertise that shit. Like, if you're going to, once again, if you're going to go through the trouble, go through the expense of recording these guys at the arena for these matches, promote it. Otherwise, it's you got these guys out there taking bumps for the sake of bumps.
Yeah, for no fucking reason.
Like literally, they're going out there having these matches, and people that stick around are going crazy for them. But I'm like, if I'm a 205 Live guy, I'm like, I'm taking a night off every night if they're not going to put no type of effort into it seriously, because who's going to really see it? Yeah. I'm killing myself to have a good match, and what? Maybe the hardest of the hardcore fan is ever going to see this.
Yeah, it sucks, man. But I just, like I said, coming out of that match, the only thing I thought was, they've got Tozawa. This guy has so much talent. Look at this match he's having, and they're just like, yeah, throw him in there to have a good match with this guy. Just throw him in there. Just put him back on fucking NXT. Jesus. They're fucking stupid. Fucking stupid. And the best part about Raw, in my opinion, if we want to go ahead and quick highlight, was Asuka.
Yeah. Once again, dude,
love
Asuka.
Love Asuka.
Like, I feel like, honestly, she's utilized. She's found a way to make the empty arena experience tolerable. She's found a way to make it work. And honestly, she's one of those people, like, I don't know, she's probably fucking around, maybe entertaining herself. Hey, God bless her for it. But she has been, working. I will say this, she has been a consistent highlight. Since this pandemic shit has started, she has been a consistent highlight of the show.
Absolutely.
I mean, for as much as I may come across as negative about Raw, SmackDown being whenever she pops up on the screen, I smile, because I know I'm in for an entertaining segment. She makes everything she does on the show, whether it's a match, a promo, guest commentary, she makes it all worthwhile. Good shit from Asuka.
Yep.
All the time.
Entertaining, fun, funny. She's just definitely one of the highlights of the show. And that's really all I got on Raw. If you got nothing else, I guess we can get to the quick little main event we got here, because we probably need to wrap up soon. This is going to be a little, not very lengthy conversation, but I know we're going to get into a little back and forth, maybe even a little political on this, because it was Sami Zayn is getting political on this, but
Sami Zayn does give zero fucks. I love the guy,
which is great. Listen, I'll get into it as we go here. Anthony, you sent an article that said Cody Rhodes. Again, you sent it on, we kind of all, me, you, and Smark, which we will hopefully see back soon. we kind of sent each other stuff on Messenger, and you sent this article that says Cody Rhodes needs to be held to account for liking a problematic tweet on Sami Zayn. The tweet now, first of all, that was the headline. It was a little. Now, first of all, I need to read the tweet that we're talking about. Sami Zayn, first of all, tweeted. Let's start there. Let's start right there, Anthony. Give me a second here. Trump, because I mean, like I said, I hate to get political, and Anthony, I'm gonna, I know we disagree politically, but I know we can get through this without a problem. There was some protests this week on trying to open up a few states. Michigan, Virginia is another one. I believe Missouri was another one. And I believe there was a rally in North Carolina today, which has nothing to do with anything. But Trump was basically retweeting people who were saying, liberate Michigan, liberate Virginia, save our great Second Amendment, it's under siege, which isn't a lie in Virginia. Now, Sami Zayn tweeted, and I quote, "There is a type of stupidity and privilege that is so distinctly American, encapsulated perfectly by the idea that we are being oppressed and losing some sort of ideological war if we can't spend our evenings in a packed TGI Fridays at the height of a lethal viral outbreak." That was Sami Zayn's tweet. Now, the headline, again, was saying that Cody Rhodes liked a tweet that was against Sami Zayn. That tweet would have said, if Sami Zayn hates normal, regular American folks supporting their president, he should go back to Canada, in my opinion. And for some reason, Cody Rhodes liked it. Now, he immediately backed off when someone mentioned it to him.
Good catch. I'm sorry. I wasn't paying attention, pal. Ugh.
Yes, exactly.
Typical Trump supporter.
Exactly. Now, I got a little problem with Sami Zayn's statement.
All right, break it down.
These people are not protesting to go to TGI Fridays. These people are business owners who want to go back to work and not lose their life savings. Listen, whether I agree or disagree with what you say, I believe in the First Amendment heavily. You can say what you want. You can think what you want. I 100% have no issues with it. But these people have the right to protest, which is part of the First Amendment. We have the right to assembly. We have the right to protest peacefully. There's no problem with it. But these people are not protesting to go back to TGI Fridays. They want to go back to work. Listen, if you let businesses open with restrictions, you can only have this many people in at a time, you have to wear a mask. That's all they want. They just want to be able to make money. If you listen to some of those people at those rallies, that's all they want to do. And yes, I know some of those people were out there with Trump flags and this and that. Nothing to do with anything. And I know some of them were out there with guns. Again, I know I'm a Second Amendment guy. I don't even want to bring that up. Let's bring up the fact that these people just want to go back to work. I get it. We are in the middle of a viral outbreak. I get it. But if these people can go back and find a way to make money, and maybe, okay, you can only have 8 people or 10 people in your shop at one time, and they all have to be wearing masks. They all have to be this. You got to be wearing gloves. That's all they want. They don't want to lose their life savings. Some of these people literally have their life savings on the line if they can't open back up. I'm sorry. I've owned a small business. I feel for these people. I feel for the businesses that are not going to open back up. I mentioned at the beginning of the show, I drive by now and I see more companies boarded up than I used to. I even mentioned the little, straight chopping, the little barbershop at the beginning of the show. I don't like seeing that. I don't like seeing businesses closing up. And again, this has nothing to do with Democrat, Republican. This has to do with honest people just trying to go back to work. They're not asking to go to Fridays. They're not asking to go sit at a bar. They're asking to go back to work. I'm sorry, Sami Zayn, but you're looking at this all wrong. I know you don't like Trump. I get it. But this is not about president. This is not about political party. This is just people trying to go back to work, in my opinion. Listen, Anthony, if I'm wrong, you tell me.
I'm not even going to say you're wrong. I get it. Yeah, I sympathize for all of us during this current pandemic. Like, seriously, like if you're blessed to still be working, count your blessings every time you wake up to go to work. Because there's a lot of people that don't have that opportunity right now.
Well, luckily,
no fault of their own.
And real quick, Anthony, luckily, me and you are both working. We have an income coming in. So that's where our thoughts are coming from, because we do have an income right now. Well, luckily.
Yeah.
And we're lucky to have it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm not saying you're wrong. And I'm not saying these people are wrong. I just feel like at this point in time, the rush to get back to work is the wrong move, or the rush to open back up to get back to business as usual is the wrong move, because we don't have any type of a vaccine yet. So basically, whatever progress that we might have made, let's just say within the last week or so, it'll all be for shit if you open everything back up, and then next thing you know, multiple cases are going to come out of this. Like Florida, for example, they open back up the beaches, and I'm reading they got 1,400 new cases. So, Vegas is talking about opening up casinos. So how many more cases are going to be created out of that situation?
See, that I don't agree with. And that's what we were talking about that at the beginning, and I didn't want to get it. I do not agree with casinos opening.
Yeah, and I feel like, like I said, take Sami's clear hatred of Trump out of it. I get where he's coming from that standpoint, that it's too soon to just get up and put things, try to get back to business as usual, because we're not there yet. We're not there yet. You don't know who's been, like I said, because of how people move during the course of their everyday life, you don't know who's been in contact with who. You don't know who's been exposed, not been exposed. There are people dropping dead as we record this now that show zero symptoms of anything.
Mm-hmm. So
I feel like that's where it's coming from. Like we're still in the great unknown. We're still dealing with the great unknown here.
I agree.
And if you open up too soon, you're basically putting more people at risk unnecessarily.
Which is why I said again to restrictions. Everything needs to have. I'm not saying open every business. And these people aren't either. These people just want to try to get small businesses back open. Most of those were small business owners. Again, if you listen to some of the interviews with these people, which I did, I know I probably follow way different sites or things on Facebook than you do, Anthony. But I was listening to some of these people. They own small businesses, and they just want to try to reopen their shop and see if they can save it. I get it. Again, I've had a small business, and I've lost a small business, but I know what it's like when, imagine doing everything correctly, and this happens, and you lose your life savings. Literally, when you think about it, most people, when they talk about their business, how many of them say those words? Oh, put my life savings into this.
Yeah, trust me, I get it. I'm not heartless, and look,
no,
my heart goes out to these people, and trust me, if there was a mature, responsible way to do it, I would say all for it. But the problem is, it only takes one small apple. It only takes one apple to ruin the bunch, and you can post up signs all day and all night. Who's to say that they're going to be strictly enforced? Like I said, my bus company here out in Philly is basically, they're not using the word strike, but they're considering using the words. They're using the words work stoppage potentially if the bus company SEPTA doesn't meet their demands, the union's demands, because once again they have rules in place that they can't necessarily enforce. Like everybody wear a mask on the bus, because basically what they had to do is they basically cut service in terms of finances. It's basically free to ride the bus. Mm-hmm. Everybody has to enter the bus at the rear. And because of that situation where I told you they had to drag the guy off the bus because he didn't want to put a mask, he didn't want to comply.
I saw that.
So basically they amended the rule to where they strongly recommend it. But what's happening is you have people that are okay, I strongly decided not to wear a mask. You have that situation going on, and because it's free, you're having people that aren't necessarily essential, but they just want a free ride, hopping on the bus. So it's kind of, buses starting to get overcrowded because they have it at a set number, but now it's hard for a bus driver to keep that number down because people aren't going to listen. And bus driver pissed me off on Monday because he held up the bus because people didn't want to get off the gut. I'm trying to get the fucking work. I was late because of this motherfucker. So, Jesus. but that's another rant for another time. But I say all that to say that we're at a place now where there's no telling, like, if you start to give people a little leeway to open back up, that rules are going to be enforced. People are going to comply. Like the same way you got these morons still wanting to congregate on the beaches, 20 to 30 people deep.
And you know what? I looked at the picture of Jacksonville Beach today, and people were pretty spread out. They were pretty. And by the way, if you looked at, CBS did it again. They took the same picture from California and put it as a Florida beach. They use the same picture. I don't know why they keep getting busted doing that, but they do. But I mean, the people are trying to respect other people. And you know what, man? With cell phones now and video and everything, it's so easy to turn somebody in that's not following fucking rules. And I know it's easy to do. And look, you're always going to have assholes. You don't think there's assholes right now that are opening their business and saying, fuck them, let them try to arrest me? There are people that are doing it. But I just, listen, and once again, Sami Zayn, anyone can say whatever they want. I don't care what your opinion is. I don't care I don't have to agree with you. I really don't. I don't give a shit if I agree with you. But you've got the right to say it. So that's not a problem. I got no problem with what Sami said. I just got a problem with the fact that he's sitting here sitting there talking about Americans when what's the country he's sitting here making all the fucking money in? Who's been paying his fucking, America has been the country he's been counting on to eat for a lot of years. Not Canada. He ain't making money in Canada, is he? No, he ain't making Trudeau money. He's making Trump money.
And I'll be honest though. I mean, you talk about following things as they move forward. I feel like the career projection of Sami Zayn is going to be very interesting to follow because he's basically taking pot shots at his boss's best friend. So I don't know, man. I just wonder if he's ever going to cross a line.
Well, I mean, listen, if you scroll through Sami's Twitter, he's very political either way. He really is. And, his following is the same way. And most of them are anti-Trump. But I think Vince, again, make him money and he doesn't care what you think. Just make him money. Money.
Or could, I mean, like I said, obviously, Sami is a champion now. But cause I'll be honest, I try to avoid, political commentary on social media, especially on fucking Twitter of all places.
Well, and that's why I said we're going to get as little political as possible because I don't want to get, I don't want, and again, I'm a situation by situation guy, which you've noticed. I don't just follow one rule for everything. But look, I know Sami feels one way, I feel another, but I would love to see businesses open back up with restrictions. Again, with restrictions. And not all businesses. I think restaurants need to wait a little bit. Food is very, I mean, there's so many hands. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hands.
And like like I said, I don't know about you, but I have avoided like the play, and I love, like Chinese. I love like, Taco Bell, Burger King, et cetera, et cetera. But because of the fact that I'm seeing, I like the first week when they said, practice social distancing, limit this, limit that. You go into a Burger King, you're seeing like the same person that's handling the money is handling the food. I'm like, yeah, that's when I'm like, yeah, it's time for me to back off from this stuff.
Well, and again, that goes back to my little Taco Bell thing last week. And you know what's funny? I go into my office today, and one of the girls there, I'm not going to mention her name, one of the girls there hands me, I for some reason I was saying, oh, when I leave here today, I got to remember to get gas. And she hands me gloves. And I go, well, what are these for? And she went, if you're going to get gas, do you know how disgusting that gas pump is? And once, listen, we talked about cash being disgusting before, and I looked up and I went, holy fuck. She's right. You know how many nasty people have touched that nasty gas pump and wiped their nose and spit and coughed and probably pissed once or twice and maybe some dude jerked off before. Oh my God, how nasty is a gas pump?
Yeah, you know what it is? Yeah.
But
you saw Blue Streak before, right?
Yeah, but wait, she went even higher. She went even more. She went even deeper. She said, and don't forget to wipe the numbers before you touch them. Jesus, and she handed me a little tiny little travel pack of wipes. And I'm like, oh my God, you just disgusted me. Like, I don't even want to get gas. You're going to make me OCD. Gas. Do you know how nasty gas pumps are? How many people touch those numbers, Anthony, in a day?
Yeah.
And those pumps. And oh my God, they're coughing, they're pissing, oh my God.
Yeah, not going to get into specifics, but but I had a funny little anecdote from work today.
Okay.
Obviously, I'm not going to name names.
No.
So we have a nurse. This woman is a sweetheart of a woman. All right. Yep. So basically, how it works is, when you come into the facility for your appointment, you have to have your temperature taken. Mm-hmm. So one person, comes in. She's dealing with one patient, and literally some people are used to like walking by and like, oh no, excuse me, you have to wait in line. I have to screen you, ask you the questions, and take your temperature. First thing, she finished with the one person. Next patient comes up. First thing out of this woman's mouth is not hello, not good morning, not how you making it through everything that's going on. First thing is, you are not touching me. Hey. You are not touching me with that thing. At first, I'm like, oh, what kind of show am I about to start watching? That I didn't say that, obviously, but that was my thought.
Obviously.
No, but she didn't want her temperature taken. Like, this is a medical ma'am, I saw her, like, look, she's very, first of all, she's very, like, not OCD, but she's one of those always wiping stuff down, had the gloves on, always changing the gloves, had a fresh pair of gloves. Ma'am, I have on gloves. Mm-hmm. We can't continue the check-in process unless I take your temperature. Man, this is a medical facility. How you telling me I can't do this another way? Ma'am, you see I have the gloves on. You see I just put on fresh gloves out the box. She's one of those. I'm like, this was a fucking like picture a basic Starbucks bitch. That's what this situation was. She's getting I'm like, Jesus Christ.
A total Karen, right, Anthony?
Yeah. And it's just like I said. I get it. Look, I get it. Everybody's, overworked. Everybody's stressed about the current environment.
Of course.
Don't, like I said, don't make people's jobs harder than they have to be, especially the essential among us.
Especially,
like I said, I'm biased.
No, listen.
I'm biased, but like I said, I even put this person above me because she's actually a nurse. She's literally on the front lines, and I feel like people like that deserve a certain level of respect above what you would normally give a person.
Yeah, and once again, Anthony, you are in the healthcare industry. You've said that before, so thank you, sir, for what you're doing out there. But dude, look, I don't like being touched either, but I know event people do have to do things to you when you're sick to check you. And right now, man, like I said, my boss spent $400 on these crazy thermometers that you don't have to touch anyone with.
Oh wow! Well,
their forehead ones. You put it to the forehead, but literally they were like $400. So I mean, listen, not every my company makes a lot of money. Not every hospital or medical facility is going to be able to afford those. That's how they.
Put it to you like this: they're trying to cut costs right now because,
of course,
even though my company is big, they bring in money by the boatloads, and they probably could afford those thermometers. But it's just like if they're cutting overtime, that means they're trying to keep expenses down because you never know.
Yeah, absolutely. So, but I don't know, Anthony. That's about as far as I want to touch on that. To be honest with you,
that works.
Yeah. I mean, look, like I said, I don't think these are privileged people that want to go to TGI Fridays or go to Cheesecake Factory. I just think they want to get their businesses back open. They would do it with restrictions. They just don't want to lose their life savings. Again, I know some people are going to think I'm wrong, and I'm good with that. But I think with restrictions, these people would definitely do whatever. Even if it was, hey, you've got to literally walk outside and deliver shit to people. Okay, I can do that. Like I said, that's what we're doing here. And a lot of businesses are just saying, okay, order online. Order everything online. When you get here, let us know. And we'll come out and we'll give it to you. And a lot of little businesses have opened back up with that thing in mind. So, that's a start.
And I feel like that's a happy compromise. But I'm guessing I guess it's just a matter of how you control it. Just find a happy medium. Like you said, keep the door locked. Maybe keep the door locked and just allow order, the door will be locked, but once you put your order in, show up in like 10, 15 minutes. Somebody will meet you at the door.
Yeah, and again,
pay online. Be a pay online only.
Right, and I am 100% not saying we need to reopen everything right now and just fucking, hey, let's reopen every goddamn thing and let's just see what happens. No. I hope I've made that clear. That is not what I'm saying. But restrictions, like I said, maybe even if you can just take stuff outside to people, or even if it's okay, you can come in, but you have to have a mask on. And please, I'm glad you brought that up. Mm-hmm. Please, people. I know, look, I don't like the mask personally because I got the glasses, they fog up. Because my face is claustrophobic with these goddamn masks. But I'm making a sacrifice. If you're going to be out, I get the arguments about how the mask only protects other people from you, but whatever. Wear the goddamn mask. Yeah. Hey, like I said, we're under orders here. Everyone in my company is wearing an N95 mask. And when I go to other companies, I don't have to do it, but I bring it in. I bring it in. I put it at least on my neck, and I ask the person, do I need to wear this? Is this something you? And if they say yes, I move it up. If they say no, you don't have to. But then I kind of leave it there just in case someone does look uncomfortable. I will put it on. But listen, in my company right now, we've got even when I'm in the office. Everyone in the office even has one. The warehouse people, the office. Like I said, man, they're slapping you at $20 in my place right now if you don't have a mask on. So, one warning, and then $20.
Would they take it out your check, or it's like on the spot?
They'll take it out your check. But
right now, fuck that. It's an easy thing to do, and I don't know about the establishments around you, but certain stores, like, if you don't have a mask on, they're not allowing you in the store.
A lot of gas stations here are not. They have signs up, no mask, no service. So
In addition to the old school no shirt,
yes,
no pants,
no shirt, no shoes, no service. Right now we're having a lot of people with the no mask, no service. So yeah, a lot of gas stations, Racetrack, QT, which are the two biggest gas stations out this way. They will not. They'll let you in, but they'll kick you the fuck out. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Basically, what we're trying to say is, even if you think the whole thing is a joke, it's a sham, it's an exaggerated flu, just have enough common decency for your fellow human being, your fellow man, to just wear the mask for the duration of your time outside.
Right.
Because literally, once you leave your house, you become a potential threat to everybody you come in contact with, including family, friends. Do you really want to bring something back home to a loved one, to a kid, wife, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever the fuck, just because you don't want to take this shit serious?
Now, I will say this. If you're in your car by yourself with the windows up and you're wearing your mask, even after this whole thing is over, you should probably just stay home.
Yeah, I will say this though. Those people are a special kind of goofy to me.
Yeah,
like, I get it if you're up and down the street walking, if you're out amongst the elements, but if you are in your personal space,
yes,
your car, your home, and you still masked up and shit, like, what the fuck? What do you have going on in your house? What do you have going on in your car that you feel the need to mask up, bro?
Yeah. Look, if you got the mask on in your car, I think you're just trying to cover up the stench in your car. I saw a lady today. I'm not going to bullshit. She has a mask on. Okay. And she had her windows up. I'm driving beside her. She had a cigarette, windows up, cigarette in her mouth. And every time she puffed on this, she would pull her mask down and puff on the cigarette, put her mask back up, wait a couple seconds, pull the mask down, exhale, and then put the mask back up. And I'm just sitting there watching her, and I'm like, I wish I could video this woman right now, because this is just unbelievable to me what she is doing. She's actually giving herself cancer while she's driving in her car. So
yeah,
that's
a special kind of.
That's what made me think that quick PSA. If you're driving in your car with your mask on, just please, after this, stay home and let the smart people get jobs. That's all I'm saying.
Yes, and on that note, that's a nice, funny note to end the show on positive.
I think so.
Shout out to that woman. For ending the show on a good note.
There you go. And she was probably smoking Marlboro Reds on that. It is Texas after all.
Box, just make my day. Mm-hmm. Old white woman?
Of course.
Yes. Thank you.
Of course.
Sometimes you just, this not stereotyping. Sometimes you just know.
Yeah.
You just know.
Absolutely was. Absolutely was. Absolutely. 100%. And on that note, I'm going to go ahead and shout out the Wrestling Overdose. That's Wrestling Overdose. That is Shaheen. You do want to check out Shaheen at patreon.com/Wrestling Overdose. Go to nuclearheatshop.com, chairshottees.com, and clotheslined with a D, media.com. Check out all his shit right there. Buy something. Just do it. I don't give a fuck. Just buy something. High Marks, definitely want to check those guys out. Cheeseman Mojo and G-Wiz. And of course, you want to listen to Bobby Anthony and Bobby Blades on the Inhuman Experience. Find those guys on all the usual podcast platforms. And of course, Unscripted Wrestling. Give those guys a listen. They can be found also on the usual podcast platforms. And of course, Stephen Milan, the man that shares our shows. We definitely appreciate it. Find him on Letterboxd, boxd.com/Stephen Milan, 2 L's in Milan. And once again, subscribe, rate, review, follow, like, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Google, YouTube. Never forget YouTube. TuneIn, Player FM, anywhere else you get podcasts from. Anthony.
Bottom Line Pro Wrestling Podcast. Jason Clark available wherever you get your podcasts. Google Play, Stitcher, iHeart. Subscribe, download, enjoy, and as I said at the top of the broadcast, leave a review. Also, leave a review for Hollywood Hangout and their Cheat Dudes.
Yes, Hollywood Hangout will make a comeback. There you go. All right, folks, that is it. We will see you guys. Appreciate everyone listening live. Appreciate everyone who's going to download this. We just appreciate all of you. Once again, love, not on your face, but all over everything else, but not your face.
Yes.
Yes.
Love in the atmosphere.
There you go. But not airborne. So there you go. Just love. And we appreciate it. See y'all next time. See ya.
Peace.
It's all right. If you don't know what to do with yourself, take your drunken ass home. Yeah.